Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the game of the season. This is mid-grand finals of ETF2L season 32. So it's gonna be some big stuff. I am Eepily, joined today with my boy Nuze and Beta on production. So Nuze, you feeling it? Yeah, you feeling it's gonna be a good game?
I am hyped, dude. I love me a good mid-grand final. I think I've casted one in the past, maybe, but they're always good fun to watch. So yeah, I'm excited.
It's gonna be good stuff. I think a couple seasons ago, I casted just absolutely crazy grand final, and I think it came down to like the very last map, and it came down last couple of minutes, and like the whole thing was won just by one weird backup from one ridiculous hiding spot. And it was one of those moments where you lose your mind, but in a good way, and I like that.
You lose your mind, but you find yourself at peace. You know,
that's the one.
That's the kind of thing that mid grand finals do to you.
I'm not going to argue with that. I'm not going to argue with that at all. I'm going to talk about some teams because I think these players are getting in a server looking to go fairly quickly. So this is going to be Not Red Doggo versus a team which I'm not 100% certain I will pronounce properly. So I will just say Drippy because that is most of what their team is going for. So this is Not Red Doggo is the core kind of slightly shifted classes of a team which made playoffs last season in mid. Didn't quite go all the way to where they are now. Whereas their opponents are more or less the core of the Boshi +5 team from last season, who did in fact win low. So again, they've changed their rosters around a little bit. They've changed some classes and stuff like that. But they're kind of the core of each team. We did actually see a little bit last season.
Yeah, and this Boshi +5 team, they did have almost undefeated run this season. They lost to one team, which they then beat in the semi-finals of playoffs, I believe. So they've had a pretty dominant season in their run-up to grand finals thus far, and there's some names here that some people might recognize. Obviously, Boshi is known for his rocket jumping fame, one of the best soldier jumpers, if not the best in the world. But we do have a few other players that you might recognize. So there's a guy who's been causing a bit of commotion behind his name, bit of a carry, some might say. Meef is how we've been referring to it. I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation, but we've got Meef, we've got Seal, obviously Boshi, aforementioned. Then we have PRM, Pluxa, and Pahan.
Like I said, definitely, maybe if you only watched the very, very highest level, you wouldn't kind of recognize. But as someone who's been beaten by both teams over the course of the season, I've got a fair amount of fear for a lot of these players. Like you said, Meef, can be a real hard carry when he's on his day. Boshi himself is absolutely kind of nuts, and it's really a kind of team which, because their core's been there for a while, they're super, super solid. And it isn't kind of like these kind of Ukrainian, Eastern European, Russian teams that we've seen before, where they just go all out aggression. That's not the way they go into things. But actually, my God, they don't even give us time to talk about things because they're going to be going live here. So let's get right into it. Grand finals of mid ETF2L season 32. Not Red Doggo versus your boys Drippy. What can I say? So going into this first mid on Gullywash here, we're going to be seeing both teams get some position. Early aggression from the side of Not Red Doggo, taking the right-hand side, getting some decent damage, walking Devon towards Choke, but Jake's going to be the first death. The rover there on the side of Not Red Doggo. Their medic as well taken down. There's just so much damage from our boys on red, getting every single frag they want. It's only really Green Rab, a super late jumper, but they're going to give him no position at all. Still, it's 1v2, not absolutely impossible here. He's going to be taking a little bit of damage, but the pipe crushes, and oh, that's a dominating mid.
Yeah, it was looking okay for Not Red Doggo at the start. They did have early aggression on their scouts, pressuring the demo out of choke. But then Jake died almost instantly when he got underneath the point, and they didn't have a second soldier to follow up. So while Green Rap did get 2 kills there and gave them a bit of breathing room here on the second defense, it wasn't quite enough because they didn't have the firepower to back it up. So now we're going to see a 50% Uber advantage for Team Drippy, as we like to call them, and they're looking to be moving in choke pretty soon.
Yeah, so that's going to be it. We do see a sniper on the side of Not Red Doggo, massively playing all the way towards top, so something a little bit for Pan to be a little bit worried about as they move through choke. Taking a bit of spam as well, but see these Not Red Doggo players will be playing nice and passive, just kind of keeping their little bit of position, and ultimately they're just looking to slow things down here. Their own Uber's on about 80%. If they can just keep on building, they will just about get in time. But our Russian boys, they're not looking to give them any time at all, going straight through main. Uber's getting used. Lux and 98% going all the way to spawn, but getting cleaned up by Meef. So the carry is in action, and they're just taking down one after another right now. Mock, Smithers both going down. There's basically no one up on the side of Not Red Doggo. Absolute crumble based off a 2% Uber advantage.
Yeah, that was insane. Lux right in front of the spawn door when she died there on 99%, so just not enough. You have to think if they were building a little bit better, or maybe the positioning was slightly more retreated, they could have made that and it would have made a world of difference, but it wasn't to be. They are one round down now as we go into the second mid. The first time round, Mop was a little bit slower to mid, but this time it looks like he's going to be just about the same pace as Seal. Boshy's actually in the choke with Seal as well now, and Not Red Doggo are looking to go up to their own choke, alternating it from the last mid. Green Rap's taking a lot of pressure in Big Door as Pluxa comes in. Lux goes down to the floor and will get cleaned up by Meef. Frags are going the way of Drippy as the soldier comes back in, and Mac and Smithers are going to try and make some kind of consolation frag onto the medic, but they're both going to get cleaned up here, and that's a nice mid.
It really is. I mean, it seems so rock solid for the Russians when just in the later part of the mid fights. You know, things can get really scrappy. You can kind of get distracted by this and that and let things fall through the cracks. But they're just absolutely rigorous in how they're playing, and it's really showing. There's almost no real danger to Fahan that entire mid. It was really crisp the way they're doing things.
Yeah, and again, they're going to be in a position with a massive advantage going into last. This time, they don't even need to be careful about moving. They've already got second point by the time they're ready to push, so there's no transition needing to wait to happen here, and they're ready to go. Players in position as the push comes in now.
Yep, he was going to be in. You do see this Pyro getting a decent bit of annoyance, really, just kind of reflecting. Meef tried to get onto the demo, but he's not going to be getting nothing at all. He gets taken down along with Boshy now, so that's 2 frags for 1 being traded and getting a 3rd as well, so nice hold there from Not Red Doggo, making a good use out of their Pyro and just some of their position there. So only 3 up on the side of the Russians, going to be playing towards the choke. Got a couple of stickies, but realistically, doesn't look like they can hold this too easily as the combo of Not Red Doggo do start looking to go through top. They're not super fast though, but it does look like the positioning ultimately is going to win out, and they've got about a 55% advantage to start playing with now. So
there is a sniper in Big Door who is taking quite a deep sightline, but has had to back out now. So he's going to be retreating back onto the choke. There's about a 30% advantage still in play, but they're going to have to make it through this choke point. There are stickies to worry about. Ooh, and the medic doesn't get detonated on, but Mob will go down to the sniper as they seek to take some control of this midpoint.
Oh my god, these stickies from Seal are absolutely nuking right now. That's so good. Just absolute, commitment to the point, but it looks like these late soldiers from Not Red Dog are going to be forcing Fahan. So it's not all for nothing, but it's going to be losing definite control of second, and honestly, it looks like the Russians want to start moving through main to last. It's going to be Brave, still 2 down on the side of Not Red Doggo. It does look like they're going to focus down Mop, and I feel like, I mean, it is fairly Brave, but I suppose, there's a demo down, they can start playing towards point. That's what PRM's going to be doing, taking down Smithers in 2 crispy shots. This Pyro as well, these stickies are so good. So much damage has been dealt. You see, it's all on Lux and Jake. Just Jake now, he gets the damage though. He just managed to get Soldier, but oh my lord.
That was a really nice push from Drippy. Really nice. They knew that the Ubers, once they had got forced on mid, weren't going to be a massive advantage, as Lux was spawning a few seconds after their Uber ran out. But they knew that they had the player advantage and that they only needed to leave 1 player on second to cap because there was no one to contest them. So they managed to take it into the last and use their player advantage against off classes that weren't really set up to defend properly. So really good advantage push there.
Oh,
as we see the start of the mid.
That is a Boshy run off you right there. Yeah, he trades his life, but what a way to start the mid. Absolutely incredible stuff there, but the rest of the mid fight's going to be going all the way over the Russians. We see Green up towards point, going to be picking up this demo man, but same position we've seen so many times before. Fahan is going to have his players in front of him. Greenup's going to try and get in 1 rocket, but that won't be enough at all. And with a chase on Lux, that's going to be another crispy little Uber advantage. And still reeling by the start of that mid. That was jumper mains, dude, jumper mains.
She was so fast there. It's not often you see players and lower divs executing things with that much technical prowess behind them, but Boshy, he's a world record holder for a reason, and it's going to set up Drippy to be in a great position now to be pushing into last. They did have trouble dealing with the Pyro last time round. He is right in front of a sentry in roughly the same position this time round, so let's see if they can do it on about a 60% disadvantage. But if they can get the same entry frags and if Meef doesn't die to the traps on point, then they can definitely get around to him.
Yeah, I feel like they're just going to use exact same as before. This time Meef's going to be getting all the way across point. It's so important how his flash lasted long enough. He's going to be taking down Jake as well, and they know that there's still pressure towards Moth as well. Meef's getting so much damage and just capping the point so easily for them there. You saw, almost the rest of their team, like the other kind of 4 players of each team were just basically distracting as Meef just runs through, kills 2 solo and caps the point as well. I mean, the carry is in action.
Yeah, he had a great last round there, but going into this one, you're going to have to be thinking that it's only 7 minutes into the game, and they're already 3 rounds down, not red doggo. So they're going to need to change something up here and get into the game here. Not being very careful to avoid that early rollout.
It's definitely don't want to be going down that same way, and actually, this initial bit of damage is looking pretty decent for not red doggo, but they just don't get the frags. They can't quite get that focus. Losing Mac and Jake is just, I don't know, it's so difficult for them, and they're just getting chased down by a couple of these players, but these Smithers and Moth, they're hitting some damage. Again, these frags, it's a 3v4 situation, it's possible to hold it, but Smithers then reverses straight into stickies, and this is going to be really hard. Definitely a spooky situation for Lux. She can't actually get out, she's caught by these stickies. Oh my lord, this is an absolute disaster, but she somehow gets out. That's so important. They're 90% Uber, and they take down Pahan as well, this flank. Oh my god, that's crushing.
Jake and Mop combining excellently on Big Door to clean up the frags of players that didn't quite have the support to support them. Jake actually gets hard denied by Meef as they enter into this midpoint, and the soldier of Fluxa is going to come in and try and deny Mop from getting up, and Mac will end up trading for him. So it's not a great entry into mid here for not red doggo. They do have a massive advantage, so the Russians will be erring on the side of caution there and just going to give up that midpoint. But they are 2 players down. The soldier's actually going to come in for some kind of counter-sack, but Boshi, thinking better of it, is just going to back up and let them cap.
Yeah, you know, keeping up the pressure, keeping not red doggo thinking, but like you said, we've got a big old Uber advantage. It looks like Choke's going to be where we're going to start walking through. Then a couple little stickies. Our Russians are going to be playing towards top, but really not too much of a risk. Looks like Plux is going to be jumping super high. He's in the skybox. He's trying to get things done. Bosch as well. That combined power of the double soldier is going to be forcing off Lux here. And getting Jake as well on this flank is pretty good. PRM does get cleaned up though, so the repush can't quite be immediate.
That is a crucial frag right now. They will have Uber soon, but there's still 3 players dead. They're definitely in a position, not red doggo, to get some kind of sack off, some kind of advantage to pressure here onto Tahan. We do see Matt coming in, Smithers on the left hand side of last, but he's going to get caught by the stickies. They weren't able to capitalize on that quickly enough, and it looks like the Russians are already looking to move on this, moving up to Attic very quickly now.
Yep, no reason why not. They got a big old Uber advantage. A couple players still need to catch up though, but looks like they're going to start taking some position on point. It's actually a Meef solo Uber right now on Big Door, and he's not quite hitting it yet. That's 0 frags so far. You see, they've committed so deep. The rest of not red doggo seems to just kind of be everywhere, so they're picking up Mop and I guess Green Rab as well, but a little bit risky there. Actually a little bit amazed how they managed to make that so successful.
Yeah, and now with the 2 players dead, only 1 heavy class for not red doggo, they're not going to have any kind of spam to contest this. They do have a massive Uber advantage, but they're probably going to be on the back foot on second, as we do see stacking from the Russians. Jake is actually behind at choke right now, but they are aware of it. He's going to take quite a bit of damage and then just have to back up. So that's going to... Oh, he actually gets a nice little turn. Gets really good rocket onto Pahan, who goes so weak, but it's not going to be enough as not red doggo storm in through onto mid and get 3 frags here. There's not many places for the rest of them to go. Green Rap's going to take the high ground. Mop's going to pressure behind him, but Lux is exposed.
Oh my lord, that's so confusing how that happens, and Meef is actually still alive, still distracting. Surely he dies. Okay, that's going to make things a little bit easier for them, but it's just one of those super scrappy late fights right now. Green Rap's going to get picked off, and technically this is like a 5v4 situation. The Russians aren't quite in a position, but I mean, if they want to go through shutter for an immediate repush, absolutely no reason why not. They got heals, they got the players. And it looks like that's going to be the goal.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to see PRM and Seal leading the charge, but Jake lands from some kind of sync rocket attempt on the shutter. Not going to do much with it. Seal was generously buffed there, so now they're just going to cap out second, move forward with their 75% advantage. Everyone on Not Red Doggo is quite passively positioned here. There is a sticky trap for them to worry about. Do they notice it? It looks like it's no concern to them. They're just going to be taking this midpoint quite cleanly here, and they still have a 50% advantage, so nice transitional play from the Russians here as they're going to move towards Big Door.
Yeah, I feel like Big Door's a smart idea right now. They could even honestly look to go behind it. Still enough of a Uber advantage. They could possibly catch Not Red Doggo as they try and leave through River. They do start moving towards lobby. Uber does get used, and so far 0 frags. Okay, we're getting 1 on Mac here just by starting a cap, but Lux is on 95%. It's some keen aggression from the Russians, but not really going to pay off too much other than just getting control at second. And honestly, I feel like it could have been worse, you know?
Yeah, there's actually going to be pressure in from Lobby, from Not Red Doggo, trying to follow up on the massive amounts of damage that Green Rab traded his life for in River. It looks like they lose too many players now, and it's actually, even though they're at an Uber's advantage, it's an opportunity for Drippy to get something going. Pluxa comes in here, pressures the point as Seal is right behind him with stickies. Not looking good for Mac. Mop's going to go down as well. Lux is going to have Uber, but Green Rab needs to do miracle work here.
Yeah, that's so good for the Russians. They just focused on those players that just weren't in the Uber so well, and even though Boshy's going to be losing his life late, you see just how safe Pahan is. He's all the way on Big Door. He doesn't care at all. Stickies are up, Scouts in a position. That was really nice, especially getting the demo in a Uber disadvantaged situation like that it's so crucial here. So, like you just said, Uber's going to be very nearly up. Greenup's jumping in, gets one rocket, but I mean, Pahan wasn't even in a position to force, didn't even have at that point, so it ain't going to work for them, and they're going to have to try and defend off a massive disadvantage once again.
You're not going to pressure the medic there unless you're Blaze, really. He's the only one that can pull that off. True. But as we're going to see now, 3-0 down with 17 minutes left. They're not even going to wait. They're going to come straight in here. Meef leading the charge again. Scouts pressuring on the left-hand side. They're going to need to pressure point as the Pyro comes out late. And I believe we have a pause, Eepily.
Oh, that's... I mean, it's a pretty scary situation considering right now I can see Meef staring at two Not Red Doggo players. Mop is 6 health. I feel like he may well lose his life, and honestly, on a map like Gullywash, the second you lose your demo, you lose that control of a point with those stickies, it is just so hard to defend. And I feel like that's ultimately one of the strengths of these last pushes for our boys in red. Meef is just getting onto Mop basically every time.
Yeah, not to mention, Sealer's got some stickies on the front side of the point here, so even though that Pyro is trying to contest some of the, that Pluxa, that soldier flying in the air, there are stickies right below him. He can't do much to contest the point either, so as long as Meef can get the one frag onto Mop, then the soldier that's playing above the point can pressure that soldier from coming up in water, and there's stickies on the front side. There's really not much that Not Red Doggo will be able to do here by the looks of things, unless they get some kind of miracle frag from somewhere. But that being said, Lux is on 81%, so if they can stall for just about long enough for her to get that Uber, it might turn the tides in this team fight.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where I feel like if they can just keep Meef from, just kind of full-on barreling across point and getting, those 1 or 2 frags, if they can just keep delaying things, they'll be fine, because ultimately, if you ignore the Meef component, the rest of the Russians, they're just playing on the floor. They're playing in disadvantageous positions. Boshy's playing towards River super weak, so in any other situation, this would be, quite a comfortable hold, but it's, like I said, it's so difficult once you lose that demo, and the soldier playing water to assist the demo is kind of finds himself in a really hard position. But, yeah, so we're going to be paused for just a little bit. I have absolutely no idea what it's about.
Yeah, well, I guess we need to wait to find out. But one thing I was thinking, I was going to talk about it before they barreled into that last push straight away. I thought this is a great time, by most accounts, to kind of slow things down. Because if you're 3 rounds up and there's like 17 minutes on the clock, you have an Uber advantage and your enemy team is on last. If you want to secure that victory and try and eliminate as much likelihood as possible of them getting back in the game, a really good decision to make is to slow them down and just send sack waves in and just prevent them from getting any chance of pushing out without taking on massive risk. But I kind of respect the all-out aggression from the Russians to just commit to that advantage. That's what I would like to see, as we do have an unpause now. 2 players go down for the Russians, actually. PRM, Pluxa, and Meef now. Pahan is going to be backing out. Lux is going to be sitting on 100% Uber right now. All the Russian players are backing out, and wow, somehow they managed to make the better of that.
That was incredible! A 6 health Mop hit the so crucial pipe on Meef, and he just gets nuked down. I mean, I don't know how you live in that situation, but everything works for Not Red Doggo. The soldier's jumping in, actually getting 0 damage towards Lux at all. He's not hit a single thing, but the second soldier's gonna drop her. They were so focused on Boshy that Pluxa just jumps in, gets those 2 crucial rockets. Oh my lord, that's absolutely crazy. 4v4 now, and Not Red Doggo, they feel like they just have to back up to last at this point. They feel like holding this position is just going to be way too hard. They capped the point, they just got to try and hold this as much as they can.
Yeah, they just had too much ground covered. There wasn't enough heals. Sometimes when a medic dies, the rest of your team has a decent amount of buffs, and if you have the advantage of 1 fragging class, you can turn it in your favor. But that time, the odds were against Not Red Doggo. So now they're back on last. Lux on 23%. They're going to have another miracle here to defend this one, Eepily.
Yeah, once again, Leaf charging across point. You know, the stickies don't get there. He's getting onto Mop, taking him down this time. So that's a good start to things. Jake does look like he's actually not even going to quite clean him up, but we did have Boshi go down here, and this is where the pause happened. This must have been where the Russians lost a player. So that's actually going to be a last push basically negated because of what I would assume is a connection problem. So, yeah. I mean, you know, it's a way to hold.
Seal was just in front of the stairs on the right-hand side of last, and he just went AFK by the looks of things. So it was Seal that had the problems. It looks like he after the pause now he's back on the server. So that was an unfortunate end to that last push. But we do see Boshi switching up to the heavy as Pluxer gets cleaned up, and Not Red Doggo are still looking to push out here. I wonder if that Putus is going to do anything on Big Door as Not Red Doggo are looking to take control of this one quite handily.
Yeah, it'll definitely be difficult, really. I feel like if they could have just delayed Not Red Doggo a little bit, it would look pretty good. But actually, it's going to be an Uber trade towards Choke. Suddenly, maybe this heavy will look good. Oh, picking up Mop. And the tail end of that Uber is so good. You see how much better it was for the Russians. And their damage is so important here as they try and take down these scouts. But Brunev gets that frag. This heavy's going to be walking through. He gets one, gets some significant damage, and he's just staying alive. He's just charging forward to the choke point. Staying alive and just being an absolute nuisance. Jake towards Big Door is going to effectively not really be able to do anything because I think the Russians are just going to be moving fast.
Well, the heavy representing Mother Russia there as he walks into last and will clean up Mob. They do have someone contesting second, but it's not going to be for long enough as the spawners come in. They're going to pick up Pahan, but Boshi is on the last point, and he's going to clean up
absolutely
so
crushing.
Many players.
Look at him go! Does he get a third? He doesn't quite. Mac does hit the all-important shots, but the rest of the team comes in, and that's going to make it a 4-0.
I think it's safe to say that round is Boshi's round. He can claim that one.
100%. I mean, you know, it's a big brain play.
And you know, I'd like to see him go for an aggressive mid, and it looks like he is going for some, I would hope, a fast rollout. And he's going into lower. He's trying to skip onto the choke, but he's going to have to back out because he doesn't quite pull it off this time round. Mop actually ended up going Big Door anyway, and it looks like Not Red Doggo are going to try and take that right side before the Russians get to it. Smithers and Lux both going weak, but they have good control of the point now. Neef going to go down, but the 3 frags come in quickly from Pluxa and Seal. It's going to be anyone's game to play for right now, as we do have a little bit of a lag there for a second. I thought we paused again. 2 frags going the way of the Russians. It's just going to be Mop, who's fighting to try and get a pick onto Pahan. Smithers, the soldier and scout of the Russians are coming back to assist, and they do clean him up. Pahan safe on that occasion.
I mean, bit of a crazy bit. Honestly, I was thinking after that initial kind of a bit of a failed jump from Boshi, he was about 40 HP going like into mid, and he kind of just had to slowly move choke. Like they kind of played the first part of that mid with 5 people, and then Boshi still had to get a pack. So the fact that they won that, I mean, so convincingly, even keeping their medic alive is actually just kind of crazy. But yeah, I don't know. For the time being, they can be walking through choke. We have Jake in a weird little hiding spot across top. I don't think I've seen Matt use probably in a couple years now.
Yeah, in a good while. I mean, it's one of the spots that's just kind of like asking to be hidden in, so I guess people stopped using it for so long. But unfortunately for him, Pahan is not going to be going that way. There is a scout that crosses his face, but it's not going to be a pick.
No, it isn't at all. Uber's going to get used to main once again. Leaf charging cross point. It's going to be all on trying to get onto Moth once again. And does he quite hit his shots? Looks like all just about with the assistance of PRM, and in this position it is 4v4. It is possible for Not Red Doggo right now. 87% on Lux. He's 5 health behind point, but they're just crushing damage of Boshi's bomb, taking things down fairly swiftly there. So that was a 18-minute 5-0, and the Russians are looking strong.
Very, very dominant performance there. And was that Not Red Doggo's map pick?
I believe it was the Russian map pick. I believe
okay.
Not Red Doggo's pick was Snake. I mean, you know, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe Snake Water's one of, I think, Not Red Doggo's most favoured maps. They believe it to be one of their best maps. So that is where we're going to go next.
It's not a completely dire affair. It would be quite tragic if they had lost 5-0 on their map, but perhaps the Russians just feel really confident on this. And, you know, I'd like to see the stats, but it's a good map for aggressive scouts with the beam, and it's a good map for soldiers with good jumping. I mean, we've seen plenty of soldiers that fit that description have much success on Gullywash in the past. So, I mean, depending on how you want to look into that map one, you can always say that Not Red Doggo have a chance going into this map too, and you know what, they're going to feel fired up. It's never good to feel to have a 5-0 loss, especially on a map one of a series, but a lot of the times it can be a good motivator.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I was talking to some of the not Red Doggo players before the start of the game. I warmed up versus them actually, crazy. And they were very much of the opinion that Snake Water's their kind of strongest map as a team. They were discussing about how for Gullywash they thought maybe there would be a chance, but ultimately they knew they would be in a disadvantageous position. So I'd like to feel like as a team, it's one of those situations where it's like, okay, it was a 5-0, but ultimately we kind of half assumed that was going to happen anyway. Like, does it really matter if it was a close loss or a loss? Like, a loss is a loss regardless, you know? Either way, they're going into their map pick now. This is, where they've got everything to play for, and this is where they can like really start to show up and possibly take it to our decider, which is going to be of all maps, Logjam.
Yeah, it's not often that you see that as the third map in a best of three. A lot of people tend to either ban that or pick it early. But actually, just looking over at some of the stats again, I don't know if you have them in front of you, Billy, but big performances obviously from Meef, but also from Seal. He was 17 for 5 that game. Not many deaths for him, Meef, or Pahan. So they all had a pretty stable game. But you know what? I think the big telling stat there that you don't need to look at the logs for really is the mid fights. Not Red Doggo weren't able to get a single mid fight win out there. They did look decent at the start of some, but the Russians were always in it. They always had some grip on the end result of the mid fight. Even if the start didn't go well, they always pulled out something.
Yeah, I really feel like the bit you've got to always go back to is in almost all of these late fights, maybe not on every kind of point, but on mids, all of these late fights, it was just so calm and collected from the side of the Russians. Like I said, Pahan had 3 deaths that entire game, and when it gets to these like scrappy late fights, especially on a map like Gullywash where people can hide and people can jump from low and you don't have that perfect vision, it is really hard to keep your medic alive and safe. And they just played it so well. They just let these not Red Doggo players jump into them, and they were just tracking everyone perfectly. They were hitting their shots. It was super crispy, and I ultimately feel like that was one of the strongest parts of them, because obviously if you win a mid fight and get uber advantage as well, like it doesn't really matter if you're slightly worse at pushing second or whatever, like you're already making the game so much easier for yourself.
Yeah, and then you know what? I think on the mid fights, honestly, not just Boshi. I mean, he had some flashy mids, but Pluxa was doing a great job as well. Not just on the mids, but on some of the seconds. I feel like the soldier aggression and the timing of jumps between Pluxa and Boshi was a real advantage and a real strong point for Drippy. So I feel like on Snake, it's quite a different map to Gully. You can't really play underneath and wait for a jump or play these kind of angles where you're not committing so much. On Snake, it's quite a bit more of an open map. Like I suppose you can go into kitchen, but it's rare that you can get there without being spotted, and it doesn't lend itself in the same way to double soldier bombs as I think Gully does. But I don't know. What's your take on what not Red Doggo can do differently in these Snake mids to the Gully mids before?
I feel like if they can, having seen not Red Doggo play Snake Water quite a few times before, a lot of how they like to play these mids is to be kind of fairly patient, fairly slow, put a lot of focus on keeping some of the height, and kind of don't immediately aggress. There's a lot of kind of counter jumping, a lot of kind of, if anyone goes deep early, they focus that guy and then try and like move forward as a unit. I feel like if we're going to see like fast aggression, there are a couple really fast rollouts on Snake Water. If we see something like that would have to be something which the Russians kind of quite radically change, I think, because I feel like not Red Dog are going to play such a way as that's not really going to work out. I think it's going to be all about, for the Russians, getting a really nice aggression when they do start to move forward, and I think it's going to be more about taking that position across point, because just with the way that not Red Dog are trying to play the height, it's kind of, it's difficult if you start losing control of point, the demo's in a position, you start to kind of get forced away, and then before you know it, you're like, we've taken 600 damage.
Yeah, and even outside of like the team fights, when it comes into the transitional play, like that was an area in which the Russians were having a lot of success because they were able to cover a lot of ground quickly and keep player advantages and use tight uber advantages, like that time when they killed Lux on 99% in the Shatteron last. But Snake's quite a bit of a bigger map. There's a lot more distance to cover between points, and I don't think that they'll have the same kind of success in this the aggressive transitional plays that worked so well for them in Gully. And I think if not Red Doggo can react to that and kind of shift those fights in their favor, I think they can have quite a bit of success here, especially if they play around Mop, because I feel like there's times where him and Greenrab in particular do a really good job of putting out burst damage, and if the scouts are around to clean up, and if they can play as a unit in some of that transitional play, then I feel like they can shut down the Russians' aggression.
It definitely felt like, in terms of some of these scrappy fights, the scouts were having a difficult time, and I think Max has actually said that Gullywash is one of his least favorite maps on a scout, and as a general rule for the team, he is like one of their carries. He is one of their kind of star players. So, I mean, anything could be different going into Snakewater. Like I said, it's their pick. They're much more confident with it, and I'm hoping, at least, from my point of view, I'm hoping to see a very different game. No one wants to see a 10-0 in 30 minutes. Okay, no one wants that.
And do you expect to see, so that the last game there was very little stalemating as well. We didn't see many off classes or pick classes or anything. I mean, we did see a spontaneous heavy from Boshi, but I would expect to see a bit more pick classes here, and maybe a bit more of a slow play, as Snakewater is known for. So maybe a bit more of a dynamic game compared to the last one. Let's have a look at it.
Yeah, let's see what happens. This is going to be map 2 of our mid-grand finals of ETF2L season 32. This is our boys Drippy versus Not Red Doggo. Going into this first mid here. Some aggression on the top right-hand side. Wanting to keep this height, taking down PRM. Pretty good start here, but Mob's just going to get chased all the way across.
Boshi.
So good. And the damage is so good from Boshi jumping forward, taking down Lux. It's going to be a 4v4 situation. Sorry, 4v3. And the Russians, oh my lord, their combined firepower is doing so good. But how is Pahan living there?
Wow, it was a really nice attempt from Jake with the skip over the left-hand side of the point, but he had to use 3 rockets in the skip, so he only had 1 loaded by the time he landed in Pahan's face. And it was a really nice rollout from Boshi, actually managing to do pretty much the same thing. Gets into kitchen really early and goes in for the lower pack before anyone had even spotted him. I think before even Mop had came out of Saw, and then he jumps into the window of Saw behind them and manages to get in onto Lux with 2 rockets before anyone even knew he was there. So Boshi doing a great job that mid, because you know what, it could have gone either way before that Lux pick. So Boshi, I think, playing a crucial role on that mid fight here. But in any case, they're going to be sitting on a 60% Uber advantage. There's going to be an Engie and a Pyro for them to deal with on last. So let's see what the Russians can do.
Yeah, moving towards this right-hand side, straight to the shutter. Greenham's going to be their first little bit of initiation, but I'm going to be taking him down. Instead, he's going to be actually even living here. Losing Boshi is really not looking good for the Russians at all. They're taking so much damage on this right-hand side. This nuclear launch from Greenham's getting so much damage. They're getting crushed towards the right, and I mean, they get 1 frag that entire time. Seal is going to be lower. He is actually a little bit hiding. He might just be able to run all the way to point. Mac, though, is going to catch him as he spawns, take him down. So a little bit scary there, but good for Not Red Doggo.
I like the lack of urgency from Seal. He didn't even want a sticky jump. He was just walking up to that last point, and he was like, you know what, I think I got this, guys. Don't worry about me. But in any case, big Uber advantage now for Lux and the gang walking through Saw. There's no sticky trap to greet them. We're going to see a Soldier of Boshi really close to them. Goes really weak. Might actually get picked here if Greenrab can follow up on that frag. Soldier comes in. They do get the 4th scout. Is nice air fight from Mop to clean up that scout. The Soldier's really weak behind them, and they're going to have a good bit of control here on this midpoint. But we might see a little bit of a repush from the Russians if they feel like they can do something here. I think they're actually going to just rely on Plux and getting something done from behind, drawing some eyes as they wait for that Uber advantage to come into play.
Yeah, ultimately, as long as he can stay alive, that's the biggest thing, because he could be such a nuisance if he's behind when this Uber from the Russians come in, Lux has to be then thinking anyone, at any point someone could be behind me, but Mac getting that frag is super crucial. So, now they escape, they shouldn't have to worry too much about it. They know this, all they have to do really here is just force off the Uber, and they're even taking out the demo, haven't quite forced off the Uber yet. A lot of spam from each side, and it does look like Pahan's going to be using now. They have 1 frag on Smithers, and this Meef solo Uber, I mean, picking up Jake, it makes it so difficult now for Not Red Doggo. They could have just kept 1 more guy alive. The repush could have been on, but I mean, they get in the Uber. It's a bit of a judgment call whether they go and refight now.
You know what, I think if I was in their position, I definitely would have gone for it, because Seal was dead. They did have 2 players dead themselves, Not Red Doggo, but they had the spawn and they had the Uber. They could have contested and got those spawns in, but now they're going to take the Uber aggressively into Pahan. Mop leading the charge. They get good damage here, but they put so much focus onto Pahan, and it takes a while for them to kill him. There's 2 scouts now running loose on the second point. Meef, can he get a frag here? Some nice damage, but he's going to get cleaned up. PRM behind Boshi. I'm not sure what he died to, but it looks like he traded for Jake. But in any case, Not Red Doggo in a good position now to move forward, but they're going to be kind of cautious of that scout behind.
Yeah, they're just got to be aware for it, so they're just playing Greenrab a little bit slow. Smithers on the spawn as well, so they shouldn't have to worry too much. It is a back cap, but they do have players who at least block this, and honestly, they're kind of just out-capping him pretty much anyway. Yeah, Green Rav getting the all-important frag. The damage though from the Russians, my god, they just appear out of nowhere and take down Lux.
Yeah, really good effort from Pluxa. They're connecting a nice rocket just with his dying breath to secure that frag. But even though they have a 30% advantage, there's like 3 more fragging classes on the field for Not Red Doggo, and they actually get with mad aggression onto Pahan and Boshi. Green Rav will go down for their efforts, but that's going to be a great frag for them. Lux spawning now doesn't have a heal target yet, but they will be able to get some kind of Uber advantage in play so long as someone gets to her at some point soon, but it looks like it might not even come to that. That's unfortunate because you'd really like to see that turn into an Uber advantage. But you know what? I think maybe the Russians don't know that she wasn't building, so maybe they can play some sort of mind games and go for a bluff push here.
Yeah, possibly. There's always a kind of opportunities to like peek on left or try and take some control of a shutter and kind of, you know, send a sack from lower. Like, there's definite options they can do when they know that the Russians shouldn't be playing super far forward, you know? But I feel like this map is definitely a little bit telling. The Russians are getting caught out a little bit more, and some of these fights are just not really going their way. Like, realistically there, you know, it was great aggression from Green Rav, but Pahan shouldn't really have been in a position to get caught like that. So I feel like a little bit of Mac experience is showing right now. And the Doggos are going to be taking some position on left-hand side, so like you said, they're going to be trying to get something, trying to move towards left and at least try and get something for a bit of a sack, but no one's super healthy. Uber is going to be up on the side of Pahan now, so it's going to be Green Rav jumping in. Max losing his life super early. The scout's going to run in all the way, but he doesn't quite catch him. And that's going to be 3 easy frags for the Russians there. Really nice hold from Pahan.
It was a good effort for a sack for the 3-man. Jake doing a nice job playing that little hiding spot there to clean up a frag, but they don't have any scouts to be any cleanup, but actually Mop doing a good job as well. Both of them picking up a frag. That is going to shut down any attempt to push out here from the Russians, and Lux is going to be in quite a safe position as Mac and Green Rav will join the fight now. They've actually got a bit of time to walk into last here if they want, because they're still 2 dead. There's only 1 off class on last. In any case, I think they're going to play it safe. It's kind of risky to go on even Ubers with just 2 picks like that, but they're taking position from under, going into top right, and I don't know if they know about this sniper. Actually, we're going to see a spy as well from Boshi.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Has he actually left spawn? He has, so this is the triple off class from the Russians: sniper, spy, and heavy. So may well be that Boshi can play this position and just kind of trust in the distraction. Jake goes super deep, doesn't quite sync up his rockets though, and he's going to lose his life, so no one else on the side of Not Red Doggo going to be dying here, so it's going to be all really about whether they can coordinate some of this sniper and spy kind of movements, you know. Realistically, if this sniper starts peeking deep, Lux is going to be spooked. She's going to be constantly thinking about which doorway he's going to come through, and maybe Boshi just gets an easy force, or, you know, even the frag.
It looks like Mac is going to go back to the forward spawn held open by Jake to probably take up a sniper. But Boshi, if I know anything about spy plays, his timing has been pretty good so far. He's been in the right position at the right time. Oh, he's dangerously close to Green Rav, but being very careful not to get hit by that one. And I think they're just expecting that. I don't think that Not Red Doggo are expecting a spy at all here, because I think they were aware of the sniper. They just took their time to go switch Mac. Boshi is going to be aware of that sniper, and he was dangerously close to walking into Mop there. But now is his opportunity to strike as they all cross that corner.
He's cloaking, he's walking in behind, he's going to... No. Oh my god, this spam from the Russians though, so good to actually take down Smithers and Mop. I mean, they're now going to lose Seal. This is really just so dodgy from either side, but in the Uber gets forced from Pahan. I didn't even see you forced him. That's not good at all.
That was a very weird exchange there from both teams, like as they pressured that last point. Pluxa's going to get caught in the choke here. Can he get cleaned up? He's taken some damage, but he's just going to walk behind. And the Uber comes in deep, and they will clean up Meef. There's a scout on the underpass there, and Pluxa's going to maybe get a frag onto choke if he can get some help. Then, oh, he's actually avoiding that rocket. So both teams missing a couple opportunities to get some frags, but Not Red Doggo will clean up a little bit in the end. Now they've got 2 players to move into last here.
Okay, I mean, regardless of all that, this is player advantage. It should be a decent position. Trading frags now. The spawners start coming in. Meef on the heavy, going to be getting his full old buff. And yeah, Not Red Doggo now thinking we have no soldiers who can really jump there. So we're just going to be chilling with our... Actually, it's a little bit Uber disadvantage. I have no idea how Pluxa managed to get so much work there. But honestly, I feel like his distraction is really crucial in them just holding Not Red Doggo off.
Yeah, he should have died for like the entirety of about a 10-second period. He should have been dead throughout it, but for some reason and somehow he manages to slither through the gaps and just draw that out a lot longer than he should. In any case, now we do have PRM on the sniper on the right hand side. We're going to see Not Red Doggo taking position in lobby, just carefully checking things, clearing some stickies. There's actually stickies behind Smithers, but it does get cleared. Boshi going to get a pick on the soldier. I didn't even see him, and he's going to survive that one as well. So this is not a great position for No Red Doggo.
No, it isn't at all. We say they lose Mop as well in that, so there's going to be no stickies on this doorway. So Seal's going to feel pretty confident to just walk forward, and you see how much damage he's dealing with these stickies. The only saving grace really is that Lux just about uses there, so they will get the Uber forced off. They do have Boshi getting cleaned up, but oh my god, Jake's frag can absolutely pound right now. That's such an easy frag onto Pahan, and they have Uber advantage, they have player advantage. This should be so good for Not Red Doggo if they can just start moving towards left hand side, just take some control and just play, you know, fairly slow. They can't take forever doing this, but it's still about 4 seconds before Pahan's up. They can start playing towards point. There's no stickies at all. Smithers is on it. He's playing the time. This is looking good. That's the first round to them.
That's exactly how you want to execute that last push. When you know they're a medic and another fragging class down, all you need to do is walk in from the place that you know there's not going to be stickies, where you have the biggest, widest open space. You need to deal with anyone that's in your face and on high ground, which fortunately for them there wasn't. And as soon as they can get close to point, just sticky off and play the cap. And that's exactly what they did from start to finish in that push. So really well deserved point on the board. Their first of this series for Not Red Doggo.
Yep, so this is it now. They suddenly have a little bit of a buffer. They can take things just that little bit easier. They still won't have to be aggressive. They still got to make things a little bit more uncomfortable for the Russians. That first frag going to be going the way of Not Red Doggo. Meef taking a bit of a 1v1 with Grunau. Going to be winning though, and he's going to be on the flank. So
Plucks it.
Oh my lord, this damage from up top. He's getting so much, but Lux is somehow living, but pin strafes directly into Meef. My god, the damage Meef is doing is absolutely obscene this mid. It seems to be he's more or less doing things solo. He will just about get cleaned up, but I couldn't have gone a very different way there. But
it looked like less than 100 health between the three players of Not Red Doggo as they finish that mid. Pahan going to be making that one out alive. It doesn't look like he was building pretty well throughout that mid. I don't know how early he backed out, but he's only on 75% despite how long it's been since the start of the mid. Boshi is going to peek from lower. It looks like they're going to try and contest this, but Jake is in the same hiding spot that worked for him last time. He does get spotted this time round. Ooh, almost connects a rocket there to clean up the RM. Mr. Smithers will trade that frag, and he will be able to get out here as Mac is maybe threatening going behind.
Yeah, he's just trying to threaten it, trying to, you know, give him the spooks, but Meef's checking his corners. He's seeing what's going on, so putting a swift stop to that threat of a back cap. 35% advantage still for the Russians. They can start moving through choke or kitchen if they so wish, but there's going to be stickies there, and it's going to be dropping. Oh my lord.
Oh my god, Mop with another 4 HP pipe on Meef like the one that he had on Gullywash last time, so crazy play there after getting the drop on the medic. Lux is going to go down to Boshi though, I didn't quite see that one. But in any case, there's only PRM left alive with the gun going up on last, and there's enough time for them to move quickly here and maybe get some pressure, but there's going to be 3 spawners coming in, so that's going to be shutting down that potential aggression. Now, both medics spotting about the same time. I think that would have been a great time for Lux to go crits, but I have a feeling that she did not, and no, she did not. So we're just going to stick to normal Ubers. No off classes either in play for Not Red Doggo, so they're just going to wait, take things pretty controlled and easy until they get Uber, and then they're going to decide how they play the stalemate from there. First time they've been up in this series, so they're just going to feel it out. You don't want to get too risky against a team that 5-0'd you on map 1, so I think it's probably the safe decision to just play things by ear here.
I mean, exactly same as you said last game, you know, they do have a bit of a round advantage. They could slow things down. The Russians last game, they had no interest in doing that, but I feel with the way that Not Red Doggo plays, this is going to be their position to just go, okay, right, like, you know, they're still going to go for things. They're still going to try and make some plays happen, but they're not going to be quite as keen to just, you know, go in with like a player advantage and kind of, you know, take some Uber trades and do this, that, whatever. I feel like they're going to want to play things a lot kind of slower and just try and kind of keep on ticking down that clock. It is 17 minutes to go, but, you know, time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, and I feel like the general trend so far of the, I don't know how many, 14 minutes we've watched thus far, in the kind of slower, more drawn-out transitional play and not quite as hectic team fights, I feel like the player that's been stepping up a lot really has been Mop. I mean, we did see that big play. Ooh, as Meef is going for a deep sightline here. As I have to interrupt myself just to point this out, because he's going for some aggressive peaks here. We do have Mac going to pick up the frag onto Pluxa. He's going to threaten one onto Boshi as well. Boshi's going to get the better of that as Meef has been pressured and Boshi goes behind, so both teams in a kind of odd position now and they're going to need to adapt their play accordingly.
Yeah, we saw Grunow try and go it as well. I mean, he felt like he had a bit of an opportunity there, but I mean, there was just so many players in front of him, there's not a lot he could do. Jake somehow getting clean up here and there. There's still some forward stickies. Almost a little bit bad timing there for Moth. He wasn't quite able to replicate his sticky trap for us again. And I mean, after all that scrappy fighting, Russian's going to take control of the second point, still maintaining Ubers on both sides, and they've still got Meef sniping, so...
Boshi's going to eventually go down. Meef is going to go for the sideline on lower. He's charging up here. He could have a sideline on Lugs, but he gets pressured. And it looks like Not Red Dog are just going to take control of Saw here. Greenrab is in quite a forward position, but he's going to be able to jump back out and get back to his team. Boshi is still dead, and we do still have Meef on the sniper. And you know what? While you would be scared of a talented player on sniper, it might actually play in Not Red Doggo's favour, not having that Meef scout on the beam. And that seems so central to how the Russians are playing on map 1 and always having him on the beam, giving Pahan that mobility. So maybe this plays into Not Red Doggo's favour. It really depends whether or not Meef can hit some shots.
Yeah, it does. Looks like they want to go for a bit of a kitchen sack there, but Pahan was so far back and Jake couldn't really commit. Feels like he didn't quite have the information about where the medic was there, otherwise he would have maybe gone for a slightly different kind of sack. Definitely a little bit different how the Russians are choosing to hold 2 just for a little bit there. Almost, you know, playing a little bit far back just in anticipation of that sack. But now they're nice and far forward. Boshi tries to make something happen, losing his life, but... Oh my god, Meef with the body shot! Where did he even come from? Just that must have been all the way from lower. That's so bad for Not Red Doggo. They just didn't keep control of things, and I mean, they're going to pay for it now as Lux gets another drop right onto the scoreboard there.
Yeah, Greenrab is lurking around and so going to try and spot things out and slow them down, but it looks like they're going to be moving in towards. So they're actually taking their time here, the Russians. Doesn't look like they're super keen to push this one. But maybe they're just waiting for more players to get close to them. I'm not really sure what they're thinking now. They're looking to move towards window, but again, it looks like they're being indecisive. Now they go towards Saw. Both soldiers on the high ground for Not Red Doggo. Going to do a good job of slowing them down as Lux meets them in the lower area. They're just going to be backing out here. Careful decisions from both teams here, not really committing too much to either, but Pahan and Meef look like they know that they've still got 50% Uber advantage. They've got that cap secured and they're going to be moving in aggressively with this one.
I quite like that mid from the Russians walking in. They were absolutely adamant they wouldn't have to use there, and yeah, they do get forced in the end, but they actually take down Mop as well as Jake there, so this is actually very positive for them to just keep trying to walk through here. They can take some more position towards this left-hand side. There's only 4 players on the side of Not Red Doggo. He's going to start getting, he's getting so much cap time. Both these scouts on Not Red Doggo are going weak as well. They're trying to full commit to this point, but Lux gets to Uber in time. Is going to be using here, and Pahan and Seal just got a hightail all the way out there. Seal losing his life, but Pahan should just about live here. Helped with that little...
Boshi's going to try and get the cap
jumping straight in. He gets such good damage, but that buff is going to save things from there. Jesus, that was close.
You know, that was a really good attempt from the Russians, and I think the thing that made it so close was the fact that Mop was dead for the duration of that, so they had to rely on their scouts and soldiers hitting their shots and focus firing to clean up the people pressuring at last. As I say this though, the Russians are looking to retake this. They know that they've got a slight Uber advantage and no Ubers are in play as of yet, Not Red Doggo are taking the bait, they're just backing up. It looks like Jake's going to go forward, Greenrab gets a frag onto Boshi, but it's looking like it could go either way. The Russians actually get the cap here, and I think Not Red Doggo are committing a bit longer than they should.
Yeah, this is a scary commit for Not Red Doggo. It was actually Uber advantage, but it was used in such a poor position for the Russians. They literally got nothing off that. Just Not Red Doggo completely scattered, and now with Lux on about 90% of her own, it is looking to be a decent little repush. Only real threat I'd imagine should be this Meef sniper once again, and you would desperately hope he doesn't find success again.
Yeah, and it's the kind of thing we were talking about where they're not having as much success in the transitions because they're not able to cover ground as quickly. They're going for Ubers where they can't really commit forward. Actually, Mop goes in quite deep to put some pressure on, and they do see Boshi underneath. Can they clean him up? Yes, they do. PRM is also behind, and he will get the frag trading with Greenrab. So there's 2 dead for either team right now. Still have the Uber advantage for Lux, but you know what? It's too risky to push out Snake Last on a 40% advantage while 2 of your players are dead. So the safer option, the reliable choice for Not Dead Doggo to just stay on last. They do have Mac on the sniper. He's going to see how he can try his luck against Meef, who has been doing pretty well on the sniper thus far. Not hitting anything crazy skillful, but he hasn't been consistent enough to get those body shots onto Lux. So we'll see who gets the better end of this exchange. And you know what? I'd quite like to see another sniper here. Another spy here. feel like that's a good play.
I can see that making sense if it wasn't for Meef just actually going straight down on Max. So you know, we'll see who wins that. Turns out Meef once again pretty consistent in hitting his shots, and drop down is going to be his next opportunity to go in. Boshy's going to get sent to the skybox a little bit. They're still managing to pick up frags though, taking down Jake. This is just for a second now about a 2-person advantage. I mean, it's hard though, right? It's hard as a sniper to get really anything onto Lux playing this forward position. They're trying to play a lot around shutter, but you just take so much damage when you peek that. I feel really, surely, from my point of view, I'd say the best opportunity for the Russians would be to peek with a sniper and then go for a jump with that. Use the sniper as more of a distraction. Like, the only real way he gets onto Lux is, I don't know, just by running in and just going for a hero shot, surely.
Yeah, Mob doing a good job there of kind of denying me from continuing to peek. That gets a bit unlucky. Took 2 big stickies as he's looking, actually he's rotated now to lower. Green Rab doing a good job of pressuring him there, but it looks like Meef is going to walk now up the right side. Mac with a nice shot on the drop down, gets the frag onto PRM. This is an opportunity for a counter sack. Looks like Green Rab is going to move towards lower and maybe see what is available to him.
Yeah, no reason why he can't, you know, he sees some of these guys towards point, he sees, you know, a couple 300 health soldiers and was like, I don't know if I'm feeling that today, so ops against it. Does look like they're going to peek and prod, and, you know, with all of this, 10 minutes left to go, Red Doggo's staying in control of things, you know, they're still around, they're still in a position where they can technically keep the clock going down. They did joke in pre-game about how, you know, it was going to be a 1-0 or 1-1 golden cap in 30 minutes or something, so maybe that's what they're going for.
Well, they have not looked like they're in a real pressure situation on Snake. I mean, they've been unmasked, but they've always been in a position where they have a chance of defending. And you know what, it looks like it's kind of causing a bit of unsettlement among the Russians. I don't think they're quite as comfortable playing in this slowed down stalemate kind of game as they were on Gully, so it's up to them to see if they can do what Not Red Doggo failed to do on map 1 and kind of step outside of their comfort zone. So they're going to stick with Meef on the sniper, but Mac has actually been doing a great job as he gets another pick onto Pluxa on this defensive sniper, so again another opportunity for Green Rab to maybe get something here. Pahan actually goes really weak from spam from Green Rab. He's only 60 HP after getting the mini health kit, so they're going to have to back out of lobby. Green Rab's so close to getting the crucial frag there. He also had Meef in his island as well, but Mac is going to try and take this 1v1 again on the sniper.
Looking, I mean, it's looking pretty good to just kind of stalemate this out indefinitely, but after a certain point, you've got to start to worry. It doesn't take much from the Russians to just make one kind of good thing happen, and then you can very easily just lose control of these kind of positions in a defending side because you're so close to losing things yourself. But Mac keeps on rattling off these shots, taking down Meep again. It does seem to be, losing Pluxa as well.
Ooh.
You saw these Russians try and play forward this time, a little bit different once they lost their player, but they're actually going to be losing
Green
more
Rab
and more.
behind.
Green Rab
He's
on
got a
the
chance onto Pahan. Oh, he's not going to be able to connect rockets quite well enough, but Seal is not
God,
being able to
how
hit
is it
both
still
players
going on?
missing.
Dodging from Pahan is so good, but their positioning in the lane, the body shot!
Mac just coming in so clutch. He's been so important for them on this last defense, and even as they push out into second here, Meef is quite pushed forward onto second. He's crossing the point now, in onto Lux. Can he get the frags? But he misses his shots. Lux doing a really good job of milking that one there. Will play for the health kit, and the spam's not going to be enough for the Russian soldiers. So it's a great opportunity for Not Red Doggo to move forward here with a massive advantage and 2-player advantage.
Oh my lord, the Russians, they just committed so hard for Lux, but it was, like I said, really good play, just kind of keeping control of that Uber, keeping some of that position, just playing around with the rest of their players, so big old Uber advantage, and once again, looks like we are going to see a bit of a pause.
Yeah, I'm not sure what this one's going to be, but I mean, just to speak a little bit about Not Red Doggo, they've been playing a lot more comfortably on this map. Maybe Gully just wasn't their kind of deal, but they look completely in control throughout this. Mac is stepping up to contest Meef as being the kind of star player here, as well as, like as we were talking in the start of the game, I mean, the soldiers and demo of Not Red Doggo doing a really good job, and it feels like the soldiers of the Russians are having a much tougher time getting anything done with their aggression.
It really does seem just exactly like I said. It's such a different dynamic when it comes to these fights. When it comes to, you know, just kind of peeking and prodding, it just feels like, yeah, the Doggos they're in so much more comfortable position. I don't know whether it's maybe just a case of they've practiced this map more, or just, you know, the way they're playing is kind of slightly more suited to this map than Gullywash. But whatever it is, it does seem to be like they're in the driving seat more often than not. And with the way that they tend to do things, that is super crucial. But we are on pause. We're going to be walking in here with a big old Uber advantage. Still no one really on the side of the Russians able to do anything. And Honestly, this is one of those positions where if not Red Doggo can take second for free as well, they can maybe nearly coast to coast this. And even if they play slow and play it equal, they've still got Mac on Sniper.
You know, it's 6v6 and there was only about a 30% advantage left. I think the better decision is to play it slow because that's where the Russians are uncomfortable and that's where not Red Doggo have been having their success. So Mac still on Sniper. Ooh, Boshi doing a good job of diving in here. Jake will get the trade frag as he gets one onto Meef as well. Both teams losing 2 players here, and it looks like the Russians are all in that lower area, trying to pressure something down there. Not Red Doggo in a good position to cover both, but PRM with a great 2-shot on Dig Green Wrap, so that's going to open things up for the Russians, maybe to move towards mid here.
Yeah, it looks like they probably could. You see the way not Red Doggo are doing things. They want to play close towards this doorway, but they just physically don't have the players to deny Choke and Saw and Catwalk at the same time. They're getting some good damage though. Taking out PRM early, there's been no use from either medics yet, and they've been losing Pluxer as well. There's so much damage on these not Red Doggo players, but there's just no real Russians in there, and Seal as well, just overstaying his welcome, losing his life, and I mean, surely there's no way Russians keep hold of second here. They're gonna have to go to last.
There was a great little surf there from Lux as well onto the little roof, just to avoid any further aggression. Looks like Green Rab maybe accidentally killed down there during that pause, so that's going to maybe slow things down a little bit. But in any case, looks like both medics are going to have Uber, so maybe just an opportunity for Mac to go back to the spawn and pick up the sniper, or for Green Rab to offer up an off-class himself. In any case, they're just feeling out here. They've been in control of this whole game. 25 minutes in almost, and 1-0 on the scoreboard. The Russians not in a great position right now. They're on last, it's even Ubers, and they've not had much success doing anything in these stalemates, Eepily.
No, I mean, this is very rapidly going to get to that position, 5 minutes left to go, where they're going to start feeling like they have to do something. And the second you feel like you have to do something, you start playing some dodgier things. Before you know it, you've lost another round, and you know that can more or less GG out the game. So definitely not Red Doggo in the driving seat. They've got to be feeling really comfortable right now.
Yeah, Meef actually charging up that shot, moving towards Cheese, gonna look for that shot that didn't quite land last time round. Lux in a great position here, not really under much threat. Pluxa maybe gonna go for a jump from lower, there are stickies to cover him, and again it looks like there's not quite a good enough answer from the Russians to create an opening here. Seal taking quite a bit of damage. It just seems like the hold, this aggressive hold from the attacker's position is just really well thought out from not Red Doggo.
Definitely feels like they're just keeping on, keeping on doing their thing at this point. It doesn't really look like not Red Doggo even that interested in going for any kind of crazy sacks right now. They just want to keep on ticking down that clock. Meef, nice deep peek. Let's get a headshot towards Mop, I believe that was, but not really gonna amount to anything because the buffs are there. So I feel like after a certain point, the Russians, they're gonna have to do something a little bit different. The sniper, he's getting shots here and there, but he's not really making those all important differences. Yep, Voshi's going to be the one getting a little bit of initiation, taking down Jake there with the help of Meef, getting some good down towards the scout as well, which is going to get cleaned up by Meef. So 2 dead now on the side of not Red Doggo, still playing nice and close. So it will be an Uber trade if the Russians decide to go, but Voshi's in a pretty good position to start pressuring them from the left-hand side. Seals walk through just when Mop's not looking, and it does look like it's going to be a nice little Uber trade. Nice pipe from Seal, more flashing from the side of Lux, but Green Up's going to try and go behind. Can't get the frag though. This is looking a little bit rough with all this damage. Yeah, Jake going down as well. I mean, surely if the Russians want to really take control of this, they might be looking at coast to coast here.
Yeah, and you know, it was a really good job of them after getting the 2 body shot picks from Meef to get 2 players behind, just play around that salt area, prevent the spawners coming in for not Red Doggo, and it gives them the opportunity to move in forward here. But Seal taking a lot of damage, he's going to get caught by the rocket as he stands still in the middle of nowhere waiting for an arrow. Pahan's going to get caught as well. Great play from Green Rab. Mop combining to clean up the last of that frag, and this is going to be a steamroll train running through to last as Meef is going to die here on point. Pluxa valiantly trying to stop the cap on second, but only Boshi is going to spawn now. There's going to be 3 more players spawning in 1 second, so a potential chance here for the Russians to defend this, but Lux is about to get Uber. This is probably round 2, Eepily.
Yeah, it's looking so good. Uber's up, they've just got to deal with this heavy. He's just going to get melted towards point. They can just play so slow with this. Seal as well playing towards lower. As soon as he goes down, yeah, no sticks towards point. Smith is just going to get on it, and that's going to be their second round. And I mean, you know, never say never. This might possibly be solidifying the win, but 2 minutes 40, it could come down to just 1 really good mid-win, and the Russians might just about get back in it.
And you know who I'm going to be watching if we're looking for a fast aggressive mid coming out from the Russians. The man that has sealed 2 or 3 of them in the series so far. I'm going to look at Boshi. Looks like he's going into Saw. Knows he's going to need to be somewhat fast. He's actually going deep onto lower. He's just going to go behind, so maybe a little threat for them to worry about, but 2 frags coming in quickly for Not Red Doggo, and another 2 to trade in for the Russians. Pahan is going to be moving out on his own, but 4 players of Not Red Doggo are on the chase. Jake is surely going to try and catch him off here.
He is, but not quite able to hit it just yet. He's going weak himself. Pahan surfing all the way possibly to spawn. Jake just about doesn't catch him in the doorway. That's absolutely insane. I think that was literally 1 HP. Pahan stays alive there, so they've got the Uber advantage, but they can't really give Not Red Doggo control a second at all. They've got to keep pushing all the time, otherwise they just won't have time to even equalize this. So Jake first frag, Smithers the second one. Uber's going to be very, very close to up on Pahan, but they can't even take time stacking points really. They just got to just walk and walk and walk and keep going.
And you know what? They're keeping up the pace that they need to. They're moving forward. There's only 4 players of Not Red Doggo in their face. Jake's going to take a lot of early damage. Mop is actually... It looks like he was holding behind, but I'm not sure where he's gone, as we do see a little bit of a lag. I thought there was another pause there. The Russians are going to keep this train moving. They're getting another 2 frags. It looks really good for them thus far. Green Rab is behind, and it looks like he's defended the point. That might be the play that secures this map. Green Rab with another pick.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, now just... It doesn't look like the Russians are going to be able to cap mid, and by the time they actually get that cap, there's going to be about 50 seconds left to go, and that would have been such a sick coast-to-coast. Grunab, he's still not done. He's getting some damage towards Boshi. Won't quite pick things up, but honestly, I think that's going to be it, you know? Obviously, great team play, but it comes down to that one little block from Grunab, and 40 seconds left to go. Basically, it's dead time at this point. Going to have to be equal Ubers. Pan's even going to drop one more just for the logs. Make some of the Not Red Doggo players feel a little bit better about things, and looks like we are going to go to our decider, which is Logjam.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Like, credit to all of Not Red Doggo for just controlling this map, but that was a really nice mid block there from Green Rab. It's not often that you see blocking a point, securing a map, and shutting down any kind of chance that the offense has, but Green Rab, he did a great job out of there, and yeah, as you said, we're in garbage time now, so just a few more frags on the board. Maybe we're going to see a nice air shot if we get lucky. Lux is going to go down, but they're going to be feeling confident going into map 3, and a really good reaction from map 1 after going 5-0 down to have complete control throughout this map to shut down any chance that the Russians had of getting back into it. And if you're the Russians, I mean, I would hope that Logjam's one of my better maps, because after that performance, it's going to feel like there's nothing you can do.
I mean, you say that, right? I'm a little bit worried for the side of the Russians, as I read in chat them asking what the final map is. Apparently PRM was not 100% aware what the next map was. He has been notified it will be Logjam, so I'm going to try not to read too far into that one.
Yeah, let's hope that he was just too focused on that set of video games there that he forgot about the last one. Maybe they were so confident that they thought they would only need 2 maps, but they have been proven wrong if that was the case. But in any case, Eepily, I want to look at the logs here. I don't know about you, but it's definitely going to be a bit lower numbers because it was a bit more of a stalemate game than map 1. But I think it's probably going to be quite telling.
I think so, yeah. Taking a quick look at things, I mean, you know, we did talk about Grunab quite a lot over the course of the game, and he definitely really brought things out for his team. 270 DPM, not a super high amount, but when you consider, you know, there was a bit of a pause and it was a fairly kind of stalemate game, he got 23 frags for 12 deaths. That's pretty significant, especially on the pocket roll, where frequently, you know, you will be going for kind of plays here and there because you're the guy who's just buffed up more. So it was good stuff there, but ultimately I feel like one of the biggest differences is on the side of Not Red Doggo, Mac was far, far more on it this game. Definitely seemed he had a really quiet Gullywash, and I feel like you could see that in all of the team fights. But this game he seemed much, much more confident, and you see just all of the Russians, they were kind of completely out of their depth the majority of the time. Seal, 5 for 12. That's not really stats you want on your demo.
Yeah, and on the other side of things, it's just as we were saying, so with not only Green Rab stepping up and Mac as well being enabled by the damage dealers, but Mop, he's having pretty much the same kind of game that Seal had on Gully. He went 14 for 5 in that game, so he had the least deaths on the server, actually, less than Lux, his medic, so Mop doing a really good job there, just being in control the whole time. He had that crucial drop and that pipe kill on 4 HP to just shut down an advantage as the Russians were trying to come into mid. I mean, Meef still top fragging. that's what I guess people expect from him within this team. He is the kind of playmaker, the one that they center their play around. But it looks like he was struggling a lot more when it was slow. He got a bit of picks there on the sniper, but when it comes to a map like Logjam, going from Snake and Gully, which are such conventional maps and have been in sixes for years, I feel like this might be a bit more of the spanner in the works, and I feel like it comes down to individual performances here. And I think if it really depends on who can step up for each team, and I think if there's big performances from the likes of Meef, Boshi, Mac, Greenrab, any of these players, I think it could make the difference here. Eepily? My co-caster has gone mute here, but I will continue this one on. So we're just going to wait for the third map to load up. So 2-1-1, if anyone is just joining us. First map going 5-0 to the way of the Russians. Very dominant performance in about 18 minutes on Gully. Second map, a much slower affair, 2-0 for Not Red Doggo. And they looked in control throughout. So yeah, as you join me again, Eepily, how are you doing as we go into map 3?
Yeah, a couple little audio issues. We'll ignore that. But, I mean, I'm really interested, considering this is a decider. Everything before is kind of almost just kind of a window dressing at this point. It all comes down to this map. It all comes down to people's, individual performances, how well the teams have been practicing. And for all maps to be, it's Logjam, which is a map where, it's been kind of in and out of the map pool for quite a while. But it's experienced so many different changes, and there's so many things different compared to the last time we saw in E2F2L. And I don't know, to my understanding, most of the teams, especially in lower divisions, haven't put a huge amount of effort into really working it out, and you can't really copy from the top level teams because half of those guys haven't got it worked out yet. And I don't know, I think it's going to be a really, really interesting map just to see, does one team have some kind of crazy strats? They got some specific ideas, or is it just going to come down to team play? What team's going to have the focus fire, the DM, be able to get the frags?
Yeah, I'm just looking at some of the season results for perhaps a bit of additional context for the Russians. In week 4, they had a 2-1 win over a French side on Logjam. And then in week 5, they had a 3-1 win. So not as dominant as perhaps some of the other scores. And if you bear with me, I'm just going to get the same week fixtures up for Not Red Doggo.
I appreciate that we're splitting hairs about exactly how much they won. I mean, they did win, but they won slightly less. I feel like if we see this map, the same kind of teamwork and kind of that focus fire, that positional play in the late fights as we saw on Gullywash, it's going to be so difficult for Not Red Doggo to kind of make things happen. Like I said, if they can get a couple rounds up, like Not Red Doggo playing from behind, I feel like is so difficult for them with how they play. And almost, I genuinely feel like if the Russians had taken the first round on Snakewater, that might have been a very, very different game.
Yeah, I feel so. That first round was so drawn out, and there was quite a few different occasions where the Russians could have got back into it, but it was big moments from players that shut it down from Not Red Doggo. And just to clear things up, so I did check the week 4 and 5 fixtures. Both these teams won both of their Logjam officials during the regular season, so maybe that's going to speak a bit to, I mean, I'm not sure the level of the opposition that they played, if it was quite equivalent, but there's something about a new map in a season. If you play it and you don't lose on it, it can almost give some kind of false confidence. I think that's happened to a few teams in the past. I know I've felt that in teams I've played for, where you play a new map, and if you don't know what kind of variety of opposition you can have and how different teams can play the map, if you only play it twice and you only win those games, it can be a false confidence thing. So maybe that could play into both teams here. I wonder if Boshi perhaps has any mad rollouts for us on this one, as he did on the first 2 maps.
I feel like your point goes double for a division like mid, where, between the bottom and the top of mid, there's a huge skill variation. And if just, with the way that the Swiss system works, you ended up playing some of the lesser teams in your 2 weeks, like I said, that can really, really throw off your idea of what's good and what's bad on a map, I feel like on the scale of rollouts, there's definitely some interesting things you can do. This slope of choke, you can definitely, if you go there fast, you can end up going pretty high. You can even, if you've got nutty rollouts, get up super fast through far right, but I don't think it's quite the Logjam of old, where I mean, I remember one of the earliest versions of Logjam. I think it's around season 20 time. You could roll out straight from your shutter door and basically end up on the enemy's house like before their demo even gets through choke. It was absolutely nuts, but I don't think I think they've kind of nerfed that a little bit.
Yeah, and one thing that I will say about it, I mean, the rollouts have been quite ridiculous in the past on this map, but despite all of the different iterations and all the different changes throughout Logjam's history, it's pretty much always been a map that favors snipers. I mean, there's always been long sight lines, and there's always been opportunities for snipers to make big plays. And with the way things went, we didn't see much of Meef sniping on map 1. We did see a bit of it on map 2, but if we're being honest, Mac was getting the better of those exchanges, and he was doing more work in general. It was only towards the end that Meef managed to do a little bit, and it was cleanup frags with body shots, really. So I think if Not Red Doggo can slow things down and get it more revolved around the sniper, as they did on their last defense in map 2, and as they did pushing into last a little bit, I think maybe Mac can seal the deal here, but equally, in the same way, if the Russians can keep things moving fast and get those frags moving like they were at the end of map 2 and throughout map 1, then they can definitely have a chance in here. But comparing it to map 1, this is a lot closer to Snake in that it's a wide open map. There's a lot more ground to cover between points, so it's not going to lend itself as well to fast transitional play.
I feel like we are just waiting on Pahan to get in the server, get ready to go. But I mean, people have been reading up so quickly. We haven't even at any point this series been able to give some predictions. So I feel like final map, this is a decider. Let's do some predictions. Who are you feeling is going to walk away with this?
You know what, with how things have been going and given the context of the first 2 maps, I feel like we're going to see the first 2 rounds go the way of the Russians. Then I think we're going to see things tied up. So I think we're probably going to end on 2-2 or 3-2. If it's 2-2, I see it golden cap and going the way of Not Red Doggo. If it's 3-2, it's the way of the Russians.
Interesting. There were some jokes about how I think Not Red Doggo have had about 1 million golden caps this season, kind of here and there. So maybe they're going to look to continue the trend, but I think I really think it's going to be so much coming down to which team gets the first round. I think if Not Red Doggo can get the first round and just chill things out a little bit, I feel like they can come away with a big W. So hey, you know what? I'm gonna say they will. I'm gonna say Not Red Doggo. They can just keep things going. Maybe not the swiftest first round, but if they can get it on the scoreboard, chalk it up there, put it right in a position to start playing comfortable, I think they walk away with the win.
Interesting.
It's gonna be hard.
Yeah, you know what we might actually see, which tends to happen in kind of high stakes games, is where teams kind of play outside of their comfort zones especially on a new map. So I think we might see some of Not Red Doggo playing fast and some of the Russians playing slow. I think that is quite likely to happen here. We're still waiting on Pahan joining the server. I don't know if there's anything slowing him down from getting in here. The rest of them are fragging out, and it looks like they're more than ready to get into this one. And that's another thing, actually, that probably goes unmentioned a lot of the time, is when there's a lot of time in between maps, especially before the third map, and then there's a lot of pregame, sometimes you can forget and get out of the mindset of, when you're playing as a team and you're playing with all the strategy involved of 6v6 TF2. And when you pregame for long enough, sometimes you just get into the frag mindset, and it can cost you a lot in the first round if you don't wake up quickly enough.
It is true. Like I said, if a lot of it comes down to kind of how I'm thinking that first round, just, not quite being on it, not quite listening to those comms, not quite kind of, focusing on things. It is very easy to just kind of, tunnel the guy you're shooting at, not be listening to the comms and, kind of spread that damage too far, not have that focus fire working. So it's going to be a little bit interesting to see. I mean, to me, I feel like going into this decider map first mid, I feel like it's always good as a team to bring out something which is really surprising. I feel like there's a partial chance we see some absolutely nutty rollout no one has seen from Boshi before. I feel like there's an almost equal chance that we see something like a sniper to mid from Meef, but we are going to be getting ready to go. Both teams have readied up. Not Red Doggo versus our Russians, Team Drippy, as we're calling them, going into this final map. This is a Logjam decider. ETF2L season 31 mid, and I was completely wrong in terms of sniper to mid. We're going to be seeing nothing at all. Cookie cutter all the way there. Mop and Seal both arriving similar time. No real damage being dealt to each right now.
Boshi in on the right-hand side.
Yeah, this bombs are so good for both their soldiers. Taking out Lux super swift and Mop as well. The rest of the frags going pretty well for the side of the Russians. It is 3 versus 2. Green Rab and his friend, they're super split. Max will be trying to walk in, trying to get some damage towards Pahan, and the jump from Green Rab. Really good timing. They are going to clean up the medic, but nothing else shall they get, so looks like a first win for the Russians.
Much earlier death and a very late death for Pahan. So Lux is going to have a massive Uber advantage. If they can get onto mid here and get into that position before the rest of the Russians are there, this is going to be a great opportunity for Not Red Doggo. As Seal takes a lot of damage at the choke, his medic is nowhere near him. It's not going to be great for them as far as area denial of the choke is concerned. Jake is actually pressuring in from that right hand side, going to try and maybe get an opening here, but it looks like the Russians are going to stabilize on that mid. About a 50% advantage for Not Red Doggo, and we do see Meef picking up that sniper very quickly.
Yeah, we do. I mean, Pahan actually wasn't healing there for a little bit, so it almost kind of wouldn't have been as much of an advantage as it is. We do see Mac going down on the flank, so partially asserting a little bit of dominance. Lux's position on point though doesn't look like Meef's going to be doing anything in terms of aggressive peaks, and the Uber's going to be up just any second now. It does look like they may want to wait for Mac, but they can't wait forever. With 30% off on the Pirate advantage, and honestly I feel like Not Red Doggo might just not push here.
Yeah, Meef does get the opening pick onto Mr. Smithers, and he's going to look for a deeper sightline here. There is a bit of chance for him to get onto Lux. She does seem to be moving her position around a little bit, but there's a lot of pressure here now from Not Red Doggo to push Meef back. Mop is just going to be watching that choke with Mac closely behind him. No counter off class from Not Red Doggo. I think they're quite content here, but the Russians are going to try and pressure the choke.
Once again, Meef body showing Mr. Smithers. A little bit of, I'd be tilted if I was in his position now. Pretty hard, and the Russians are just going to walk through choke. They're barreling through. They get those 2 soldier frags. They might even pick up Mac as well. Yeah, Mac tries to get on his medicin. That's absolutely brutal. We see Mop as well. Oh my lord, literally every single Not Red Doggo player there dies other than Lux. Thankfully, she still does just about have her Uber, but the slow spawns are going to make this so hard, and we see Meef all the way on this far left-hand side. He's going to be in a position. Ubers do get just about traded. Oh my god, that body shot could have come out, but it is going to be a far better Uber for Not Red Doggo now. They're going to be trying to make some little peek and prods happen here, but they lose Jake. So difficult. It seems like that's a bit of a recurring theme. They kind of lose Jake in some of these really crucial situations. It makes things really hard for them to push.
Meef is going to go down, and you know what, I do respect the decision of Lux going for the early Uber pop. None of our players were under too much threat there, but it's better to be safe than sorry. And you know what, if you wait too long after popping that Uber when you're defending last, if your counter pop is late, there's a lot of times where you can't do much with it, and then you end up in a situation where the opposing team has an Uber advantage, and you're just sitting on last with nothing to move on. So I do like the decision to pop that Uber quickly. They did get Meef and, pressured a little bit into lobby, but the end result is not really much. So they lost that second point as a result of those Meef picks, and he is sticking on that sniper, and now we're going to see the same even Uber stalemate here on last, but it's going to be a bit different here because Meef's going to have to commit quite a bit further if he's going to try and get something here, and he is winding up for a shot on this left hand side.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting last because you can get so much vision from the little window towards lobby that you can basically see their entire setup completely for free without any real threat. So it won't be one of those positions where they got to peek and prod and trying to find the enemy medic. They're going to be 100% aware of exactly where she's playing. So Guns be going down now as well. It does open things a little bit for main, which doesn't have any stickies on at all. So, I mean, we've got some options here.
Yeah, Mop is just going to be holding that left-hand side. Seal is there as well. We do still have Meef on the left. Got a chance onto Jake, but he's not going to connect the shot. But Jake actually dives to Boshi. Nice rockets there as Meef charges up for another shot. Not going to connect onto Green Rab. He's got a headshot onto the Heavy as well. Ooh, almost has a second there. Everyone of Not Red Doggo playing quite passively now. They don't want to stay in the sight line.
Ooh, that's
Mob's
so
going to go down.
Yeah, getting that headshot on the demo, super good. Boshi pressuring towards point. It is still 2 players down from the side of Not Red Doggo, but picking up Flux and getting that spawn is going to be pretty good. But Meef rattling off another headshot. It's completely possible. This repush. PRM getting so much damage. Taking down Mac, just forcing Locks all the way down to the floor. This damage is so good for them. It's all on Jake as a spawner with no HP at all. He's going to try and get in, but nothing.
Nice try from Jake, but at the end, Meef creating the opening picks, and not only that, but hitting shots throughout that push from that position. No one was really able to pressure him and prevent him from doing work. So he comes in big, and he is stepping up, being that individual performer here to secure the first round. the round that you think is so crucial here for this map 3 in favor of the Russians. Mop going to fly into the choke a little bit slower than Seal. We're going to see the same cookie cutter as we come into the second mid, Eepily.
So this time Boshi staying kind of jump far right inside, getting really aggressive along with Fluxy, but this time Noradogga so much more aware of it. Meef though does get in, gets that all-important medic frag, but the rest of the Russians, they've just got to back through choke. They don't have the players really to commit off this. Green Rab gets some nice rockets, not quite picking up Pahan though. It does look like Mac might just about be able to clean up this frag. Yep, rockets and the spam from Mac going to be taking Pahan down, so Ubers should be equal here. Seal just playing towards lobby, and doesn't look like the spawners are going to be quite up for the Russians in time to keep hold of second. I mean, it might be possible because not Red Doggo are backing up really far. It doesn't look like they want to pressure too much on second at all.
Yeah, they had to commit quite far to secure that frag onto Pahan with about 3 of them, so they didn't have much pressure on the cap, and they also didn't get to Lux very quickly, so what could have been about a 40% advantage actually ends up only being about 20%, if that, so not looking great. Slightly suboptimal play there from Not Red Doggo, but they're going to be comfortable in the fact that they at least have mid, looking like a better start than round 1. They are 1 round behind, and the Russians aren't really in a position to keep that fast, aggressive play going. So maybe if Not Red Doggo can slow things down again, they can grind this out and get more control asserted on this map. But they really need to get that round on the board to even things up here.
They definitely do. Grunab's going to try and move through choke, try and make little something happen, but he's going to be losing his life, and Mac might very easily get caught in the flank here. He's just about... Oh, he will actually get cleaned up by PRM. So one scout, one soldier down inside of Not Red Doggo. The soldier's going to be walking in, and you see Not Red Doggo actually playing really far back. Jake's going to be trying to go for a bit of a flank on choke, but it's optimistic. Pipes from Mobs will be taking down at least one, and this is kind of really chaotic, super kind of scrappy, but neither team's Uber. There's no real significant damage. Lux very nearly dropped at 12 HP, so much earlier use. Pahan should be fairly free to get a far better Uber here, and oh my lord, the rockets from Bosch taking down Smithers. It's just, it wasn't the cleanest, but it's working for them. But now Mob's just walking through choke. He gets the pipe on Pahan. What is happening? They pick up
Jake's
Seal
going
as
to follow
well.
up as well. Mob is so weak now. The scout comes in. He's going to be able to clean up Jake. And Mob actually gets that frag as well. The scout is going to be in his face. He would do a crazy job to get this frag, but he is going to go down. But, there's 1 scout capping now, but they are going to get 3 spawners for Not Red Doggo. So they're in a position to just come straight back in here. Can Green Rab get the block? No, he doesn't. He actually lands in the scout's face, and he hopefully goes down. But he actually looks... Oh, he almost made it out there, PRM, but Smithers will clean that up. And now the tables have turned, and the spawners come in for the Russians. So they're going to try and contest this, but Smithers is committing to this cap. They do want this.
They do. The damage on Lux is significant, but not these players forward. Seal's going to be losing his life, playing just a little bit too aggressive. Take down another, but really the Russians, they have no right to stay in here. Fluxer jumping forward. He's surely going to get nothing at all, but the arrow from Pahan somehow takes down Mac, and I have no idea what's going on. The long range rockets from Jake.
And then Lux dies to Fluxer.
How are they trading medics here? That's absolutely crazy. Surely not Red Doggo. For God's sake, take control of this mid.
And PRM is just going to stand looking at some of these Not Red Doggo players as Meef comes in to join him. They're looking to fight this one. Not Red Doggo not looking too confident to contest this. Jake, on so little HP, does die, as does Green Rab. So both soldiers dead for Not Red Doggo. Bosch is going to have to leave this one really weak, as is PRM. It just really depends on which medic can get there quicker. It looks like Lux is going to be distributing the heals. The Bosch is coming in again. Going to put so much pressure.
Neither team wants to give up this mid. They are absolutely adamant. No, I am going to keep control. And after all of that, it came down to just slightly later spawns for the side of Not Red Doggo. So the Russians, once again, will take control. Effectively equal Ubers, though. So, all that about 2 minutes of fighting doesn't really make too much of a difference. But, I mean, it's showing individually the Russians are not afraid.
Yeah, I just want to say this is a great map so far. This series has been great. We're 10 minutes into map 3, and both teams are fighting for every little inch in this game. We're going to see a slight advantage here for Lux, but this is kind of the same position that Not Red Doggo were in when it was 0-0 and the Russians had won the mid-fight for the first time. So if they can not allow Meef to switch off to that sniper and not allow him to get those opening picks, then they might have a better chance here than they did in round 1. But as things stand, they're still 1 round down. There's 20 minutes now on the clock, and Not Red Doggo are going to need to look for some kind of opportunity here. And it, like I said, perhaps it looks like the Russians are playing it a bit slower than they were in the best.
It does, yeah. It seems like they're a little bit more aware. This is a round advantage situation. We have some Frags being traded here and there. Smithers looks like he wants to try and go behind, provide at least a bit of a distraction, but Meef doesn't want to give him any quarter at all. Losing the 1v1 though. Good stuff for Smithers, but he will eventually get cleaned up by PRM. So, 4v4 now. Everything's equal Ubers. I would imagine we're going to start to see some kind of off-classing because there are some really deep sightlines you can get in terms of choke on the sniper, but also we haven't seen a huge amount of spy so far.
Yeah, and it did work with some varying levels of success for Boshi, but I don't think we've seen anyone from Not Red Doggo take the spy. I mean, I'm not sure if that's correct, but as far as I recall, we haven't. But you know what? The other thing is, it seems like while his map 1 Seal had a lot...
How did Mac just walk all the way through by himself? He
oh my god!
What is happening? He walked straight past Flux. I didn't even see what hiding spot he was in, but completely solo. He gets that Uber force, and I mean, that's absolutely crazy how that happens.
But Meef did pick up that sniper rifle, so maybe he's in a position to shut this down. He's going to be back in his own choke, just watching the enemy choke. Going to be ever so careful if Lux crosses any sightline. Meef has been on the body shots today, so it really depends on how Not Red Doggo decide to push this one, and it looks like they are gearing up to move towards choke a little bit. Mop and Smithers going to lead the charge here. They are aware of Meef on the sniper, and I think they're going to need to avoid this one carefully.
Yeah, it's such a wide open map, and mid specifically, that the sniper can really get some decent damage, but also trying to take that position is super hard. We do see 2 body shots taking out Mac and Mop, and Green Wrap as well going super weak. We do at least manage to trade some frags here, but Uber's not been used 75% roughly on Pahan, and these fights are super scrappy. A 3rd body shot from Meef. He's an absolute body shot machine. He doesn't care about the headshots. As long as he clicks your chest, he knows he can get you into that spawn queue, and I mean, just purely through the force of having that sniper and these long angles, they keep control of that mid, and they actually somehow manage to keep control, even with a 100% Uber disadvantage.
Yeah, that was a really well played from them. Meef doing a good job again with those body shots. Not been hitting many headshots, but man, the man can click things consistently. Ooh, another headshot actually comes out as I say that. Jake and Matt gonna go down to Seal and PRM respectively. All 4 players of Not Red Doggo now on the Spire of 2nd, and we're gonna see Pluxa in the area that was formerly called Gandalf. I believe it's called Cave now. Oh, and Lux goes down to the body shot.
He is an absolute king of body shots. He's hitting everything, and the headshot as well. Take it down, Moth. That's so crushing an entrance into this 2nd, and with no demo for 14 seconds and no heals at all. It looks like realistically the Russians can just start looking to move forward just whatever direction they want. They're even pressing towards his left-hand side. Jake, he's managing to get out, but even that was risky there. We have Mac on Pyro, Smithers on Heavy. They will have time just to get their crit heals and, you know, manage to be fully buffed here, but Brian's side, Uber's going to get used. Mac's going to be that first real nuisance to get rid of, and this headshot from Meef again. He's making so many good individual plays. No stickies towards point. It is a bit of a 4v4, but surely, as long as they can just start playing a little bit slow, this is going to be a 2nd round for them.
It does look like that's the case. Meef going off throughout that whole round from the defense on mid, straight through to the 2nd push, and even in on last, hitting some shots there. So very crucial performance from him, and he did a good job on round 1 as well. So his snipers made the difference thus far. Maybe Mac's going to pick up that rifle sometime soon and contest him like he did on map 2. But in any case, we're going to the 3rd mid here. It's going to be a pretty similar affair to the first one. Both demos coming in here. I wonder if we're going to see the same soldier aggression from Boshi on the right-hand side. Looks like Lux is playing it quite safe. Jake and Green Rab not quite committing to anything just yet. As Pluxa and Boshi both come in, neither of them doing too much as they go behind Jake, Mop and Mac combining to get the first 3 frags of this mid. Seal is not in a good position here. He's going to go down. It's just Pahan left alive and Pluxa behind. Pahan is not going to have much room to move here. Mop actually sends him towards main, and he's going to get another surf. Pahan doing a great job on 40 HP as he leaves on to last. Got a slight disadvantage, but excellent survivability as we saw on Snake.
That's so important there. Those couple of nice little surfs, basically, it's going to allow them to effectively get this Uber in time. I mean, even if Not Red Doggo pushed absolutely instantly, which it looks like they're going to do, it's going to be so hard. Pahan, though, a little bit too far forward. He's going to go super weak. He will actually get cleaned up. That's so crucial, and I mean, there's so much damage going everywhere, though. It just seems like the Not Red Doggo players aren't really able to do anything else. Match playing towards when he gets so much cap time. He's going to lose his life as well.
Wow. I don't even know how if Noradog were going so fast with that tiny advantage, managing to get the medic of the Russians, but they were all so focused on that they weren't able to react to what followed, and they all go down. All of the remaining Russian players stayed alive as they do push out onto second now. Luck's going to be spawning later at about a 20% disadvantage, but if the not Red Doggo players can't get to mid quickly enough, then it's going to be a quick mid take for the Russians as they're storming in from that left-hand side.
Yeah, I believe we'd refer to that as one of those squeaky bum times, but the Russians, they kept full control, calm, composed. They just make it happen, even in these kind of craziest situations. And like you said, this Uber advantage, even a player advantage, is not Red Doggo just only getting a spawner. It does look like maybe they can start trying to walk, peek, prod a little bit, but we're also in the same position as we saw not Red Doggo in last game, where they got this round advantage. They don't have to make anything really happen at this point.
Yeah, I think that would have been a great time for Mac to pick up the sniper, because you can expect them to maybe not push that. Even if they do, playing a disadvantage on sniper can be advantageous, especially from that forward spawn with a great sightline. And I feel like this would have been a good time to maybe get some of those picks and assert some of that Mac sniper dominance. We do see Jake going to get pressured out of the right hand side there. The flank of the Russians looking quite aggressive, just trying to control that space, but no one else from the Russians are really trying to do much. Drippy are quite content here to just play the slow game, kind of stepping into the shoes of Not Red Doggo from map 2, but we're going to need something from Not Red Doggo. There's only 13.5 minutes left on the clock. Maybe Matt can just run and choke again and get a force, like he does every other day of the week.
Apparently, yeah. Said Leaf Sniper continuing just to make things work, taking down Creamrab, and Jake also getting just baited a little bit too much on the flank. He's just a little bit too aggressive, and he just pays with his life. And you see the rest of his team, they feel like they have no choice here. They've got to back up. They won't take any of these dodgy trades anymore because they know they can't afford to just lose control of things. On last they go.
Yeah, and they're going to get their counter sniper of Mac finally. Gonna see him maybe able to contest Matt and Meef, and there he does. First shot that he takes, headshot, gets the revenge on that kill, and that's gonna be a damage to the morale of the Russians. They're gonna need to react carefully to this as Mac looks to move further forward here. There is a scout in left lobby, does clean up Mop, so a demo pick for the Russians can open things up a little bit, but if there's a defensive pick for them...
Oh my lord, taking down Jake there as well. He does just about manage to equalize it, but it's kind of crazy how these picks here and there for the Russians, they seem to just be so cheeky with how they're playing, and they're continuing to just make things happen. So Boshi's actually going to go all the way to point. Hand's going to get hit, but Boshi's playing so much time on the point, it's absolutely crazy. Lux does use her Uber, but can just only connect to someone now. It does look like surely they're going to clean up all of these remaining players. It looks like they will be looking okay. PRM is super far away, and Seal just playing towards lobby, jumping away, so he will manage to live, but
is going to look for this back.
He's on it. He's on the prowl. He's absolutely going to go for things, but he's actually just going to get on Lux instead. One shot, two shot. Lux is going super weak, playing towards the point.
My
somehow
God.
Lives.
This is a nail-biter of a game. Every little advantage is coming so close to being capitalized on. Lux managing to survive that by the skin of her teeth as they do cap second here. Slight Uber advantage, and they do have a player pick. And you know what? I think they're probably going to want to move with this. I feel like the Russians aren't in a position to defend too much here. They do actually have Meef on the sniper, so if Not Red Doggo are aware of that, that might scare them a bit too much. Ooh, Mop does get body shot, so now they definitely know. And Jake does die on the flank, so not looking good here for Not Red Doggo.
Really feels like the Russians just keep control of these flanks more often than not. They're getting picks here and there, like, consistently as well. Seems like if they just dedicate a bit of attention to it, they'll make it work. Uber advantage from Not Red Doggo, moving through far right-hand side. They're going to be picking up PRM nice and early. Possibly Boshi towards the choke point. Yeah, they'll get him as well, but Pahan, 90% of his own. Greenup going deep, trying to make something happen. Get some good damage. Just about not getting it though. Pahan living on 20 HP, and that means this repush can be almost immediate, really, if they want to.
Yeah, and it looks like they're ready to use that Uber. They're taking quite a bit of damage. Meef is actually quite far back. Pahan is just going to heal up his players as they were taking some of that damage there at the choke points. But Meef is now going to be leading the charge through the choke point. PRM Seal now moving ahead of him. Could have a sightline onto Lux, but she cleverly drops off. Mac is lurking on the flank, potentially looking for a play behind them. He does get cleaned up.
That was so good from PRM. I don't know how he knew, but dude just knew. Just gets that easy two-shot, completely negating any chance of a back up or a flank or whatever. Taking mid for free. I don't know. I mean, that was a massive brain play from PRM. I feel like single-handed he gets some control of mid for free there.
Lux just about to have Uber as they do get the pop from Pahan, so now Lux in a position to do a great counter pop. Surfs round the corner. Smithers going to take the first flash. They do get the frag onto Boshi. Mop diving in here, going to try and get some damage onto Pahan. Going to the air. Guess what? Oh, double from Pluxa.
That was absolutely sick. Mop just got deleted from the server. Get out of there. And they take down Smithers as well. This is 4v4. Seal has to surely die here, but Meep is continuing to rattle off headshots. Green Ramp going down as well. He will get cleaned up. It's all Pahan just by himself now. Boshy's spawning to keep him some company, but I mean, he was scrappy from not Red Doggo, but they take control, I guess.
Man, I'm still reacting. I'm just trying to gather myself from that double air shot there from Pluxa, but
It was sick.
yeah, we're gonna see still an uber advantage of about 30% for not Red Doggo. There, Meef is still on that sniper, man. He's not giving up. There's only one player of the Russians on second, and not Red Doggo are aware of it. They're just gonna run through here. Meef gonna go for the shot from top right. He's charging up here. Are they aware of it? He's just gonna peek it ever so slightly. Oh, he gets knocked the frame before he dies to the rocket from Green Ramp. But it might not be enough to slow this down. They've still got a 20% ad. But you know what? I think the safer option is not pushing when you don't have a demo.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like, you know, maybe in a different world, maybe if he didn't hit that shot, Green Up gets him just a little bit sooner, Mop doesn't die, maybe they go. But like you said, it's so hard without having a demo, and they must know that Pahan's going to be getting really close to his. So kind of crazy, these little things it comes down to in this kind of play. 8 minutes 30 left on the clock. Not Red Doggo's still yet to find something consistent that works for them. I feel like they're going to have to start trying to do something different. I mean, we saw great success with a heavy on Gullywash. Maybe they're going to start look to get heavy of their own, you know? Maybe some kind of I feel like... I mean, we've seen in previous games kind of putting a heavy on process second and kind of sacking your demo straight into last. I feel like maybe Not Red Doggo could look to do the same thing. It's a very similar setup.
Yeah, I know, they could go for a variety of different things here, but you know what? Honestly, I think the safe bet is to rely on Mac and his sniper. It's saved them countless times so far this series, and it's been doing a consistently good job. So I think sacking in a player and getting Mac to switch off for the sniper rifle, even though they only have 8 minutes left, I feel like it's the way to go. Jake is in, gets his chance onto Pahan, but he's going to get cleaned up. Smithers going to go down for that as well. So the two-man sack coming out for Not Red Doggo. They were efficient and didn't waste too much time with getting that one done. We're going to see Mop putting stickies on the top right now. No Meef sniper to worry about, but there are a scout peeking that top right. There's soldier in main. How are Not Red Doggo going to react on the defense here? Yeah,
I feel like this push from the Russians just a little bit too late, really, but they managed to get through this choke point just a little bit too easy, a little bit confusing there. Hiram tries to go pretty deep to make something happen, but he's going to die as well, and the rest of the Russians just look to be backing up. Nice little sticky trap from Seal, going to equalize things once again. They could have a bit of a position towards the right-hand side, but we do have the soldier 100% aware of things, so position... You know, they're keeping control of things on the side of the Russians. Green Up going to be jumping in, tries to get some decent damage. He gets one rocket towards Pahan, but surfing all the way to spawn, and this is starting to get to the position of... Yeah, I honestly feel like this Max Sniper might just be the way to go. Maybe this is the plan for them now.
Yeah, and as Green Rabbit is going to be spawning up here, let's see if we do see Matt go behind. It looks like he's just staying on Spire here. Maybe they're just deciding about it.
Green Rabbit's always good, you know?
You always could. You know, I think he's probably the best spy in the game. We know he's the best demo man in the world, so...
we do know that. That's,
you know, he could play anything he wants to here, Green Red, but looks like they're just going to stick to Cookie Cutter. They're going to be taking up the lobby position. Now, you know what,
Oh, he's... Okay, he went for a bit of a spy play. He gets caught instantly, loses his life, and that's going to be all she wrote on that one. So, player advantage, an opportunity for Not Red Doggo here.
They can deal with the sentry gun, which they just have. You know, this is a good opening. A player pick and a sentry gun, I feel like, is, if not just for a good sack, is potential for trade. You know, probably not on Logjam, because the medic can play so close to the spawn door that it's hard to force a trade, but they can definitely get something going here. Mac is going to look towards the point, gets the stickies cleared, he gets so much cap time. They do fall for him now.
Oh, and Pahan drops from the rocket! That jump was absolutely fantastic. The double sack of Mac and Jake just that little bit later. They were so focused on that point, and Jake hits those two perfect directs, dropping Pahan. That's absolutely fantastic for Not Red Doggo. So now all they have to do is just wait, get their spawners, and push with a 100% advantage. And honestly, if they can get this round, they'll be right back in it. But if they somehow manage to just make a mess of this, it's going to be hard. This is their best opportunity so far, and they've really just got to make it work.
They need to be composed here. They need to formulate a plan before they go in, understand what they need to do, and they all need to play their roles properly, because even though they've got an uber advantage, there's a lot of off-classes to deal with, and they come in with it now.
Yep, sentry's going down nice and early. Fox is staying alive, just does get taken down now along with Boshi. frag does happen straight onto Grunab though, but actually there's barely any Russians alive at this point. It's all just on Seal and Pan, Stickies. It's going to get baited on point. It will go down. Seal hitting a crucial Sticky, but surely he can't deal the damage. Surely he can't. And that will be a not red doggo round. This is 2-1, 5 minutes left to go, and I feel like they can get right back in here.
And you know what, I don't know if it's too early to point out, maybe I'm going to jinx it myself, but I want to say my prediction is holding true.
It's looking
The Russians
good.
have been playing slow, Doggo have been playing fast. 2 rounds first going to the Russians, 1 on the board now for Doggo. If they can get a second to tie this up, I am going to be a very happy man. As we look to this mid, no spanners in the works, it's just going to be the same thing again, Eepily, to start us off.
Yeah, I mean, run me through this mid news. Tell me what you're seeing. What's going on?
Well, we're going to see a lot of high ground playing on the left here for the Russians. The soldiers are going to get ready to bomb straight across the point here. Flux are going in first, Boshi following up. They get straight in onto Lux and Smithers. But the trade frag's coming in. Jake's going to be on Pahan, and Mop can maybe get a frag onto PRM. But Pahan, with that great survivability, just juking around. I don't know if Jake's going to have enough time. Pahan with an incredible job there.
That was absolutely fantastic. He played that literally perfectly. Him living there, honestly, he may secure the win for his team purely based on that mid play. That was absolutely sickening how well he dodged there.
Yeah, I know. There's 2 players chasing him. Jake had the high ground on him, and he just manages to dodge 1 rocket enough for his scout to clean up the demo, and then he dodges the 2nd rocket just enough to minimize the damage so that he can get cleaned up, man. That was an incredible play from Pan. You know, maybe it doesn't look like the flashiest thing, maybe not a crazy nice surf, but that was a highlight for sure, and now they're looking to move forward with that advantage that he secured for them. Mac is actually on the spy on top left. They've not run it so far, not Red Doggo, so maybe they've got a chance. Boshi flies high up in the air, does die to a rocket jump that he almost went for. There's a player behind of Jake, does get cleaned up. This, if there's any time that the Russians wouldn't expect to spy, it's now. And I think Mac really needs to make this count.
Yeah, he's decloaked, he's running towards point. He's been spotted though, he's going to be dancing around. He will get caught now, and this is 2 minutes 50 left to go. It's going to be equal Ubers, and at this point, if you're the Russians, surely you just chill. You know, you can get a heavy on that point. You can do whatever you want. Maybe even just, you know, bring up a sniper just for the sake of forcing not Red Doggo to use early. They do decide to push. And it feels like they might feel pressure enough just to try and do this. Yeah, through main is going to be where they're walking. Mop and Smith are taking some good positions, but we still do have Ubers to get rid of here. Boshi getting some good damage, getting some good position, trying to move things forward. This is going to come down to a scrappy fight. Losing Jake is so difficult here to keep control of things. And Mop, he's running forward. He hasn't got his medic with him though. The pipe on hand! That's absolutely insane. He runs forward by himself. He loses his life. Oh my god, these frags are looking good for not Red Dog. They need to play together, but Seal is somehow behind. Takes down Lux. He loses his life, but no, he takes down Smithers. How's he staying alive?
S32 plucks in onto Mac. He does get the frag actually. Green Rab's gonna need to make it count with these rockets. Gets 1 onto Pluxa. Oh, almost connects with the 2nd. Seal is gonna be there to shut him down. There's 1 minute 55. Jake doing a good job of playing some high ground, getting a little bit of cap time, but he can't commit to this for too long. He needs support from his players, and they're just not there yet.
They're not, in the heals on the side of the Russians coming up much earlier is going to be so crucial, and now this is 1 minute 40. I feel like if not Red Doggo let the Russians get their Uber, it's going to be, I mean, nigh on impossible here. I feel like they have no choice but to push, and far left is where they're going to be going. It's still 40% off Pahan getting his Uber. They're going to start trying to move through main, and this is the all or nothing push. Moff jumping super high, trying to take some position, but no real damage, losing his life. Mac and Grunab combining to take down Pahan, and they're getting some really good damage here. Both sides going super weak. 3 versus 3, but there's no real fragging classes, and it's all just Lux on the side of not Red Doggo. Surely there's nothing she can do here. She's going to get taken down, but super late. They're almost just toying with her, and it looks like they're going to go straight to last, and it's only just Mop here. He tries to get some stickies towards point, and he's going to get taken down. 3-1 with 1 minute to go, and that's going to be GG.
That's going to be it. There's 1 minute left, but yeah. Wow. Not Red Doggo, just not quite able to push out. The Russians doing a great job of slowing that down and really putting not Red Doggo between a rock and a hard place. Basically, they didn't have any good options, and they had to make something bad work. I feel like it was a bit risky of just having Mop jump in there. I mean, he was connecting shots throughout that last few minutes of the game, but it was kind of messy, and I feel like the pressure just got to them a little bit. The Russians gonna secure that mid win. Season 32 is going to go the way of, I'm going to give it an attempt, Eepily.
Go on.
Nemnogo Drippy. That's the full name of these Russians.
Absolutely.
And I feel like after a mid-grand final win, they only deserve one of us to attempt their name.
I feel like it's only reasonable, but like I said, this is going to be the last little 5 seconds of the game, last 5 seconds of the mid-season. Like I said, congratulations. But honestly, I mean, shout out to both teams. That was such a fantastic series to watch.
Absolutely. I mean, it was only in the last minute of play that we got a conclusive result, but it was looking like it could go either way throughout that. And there was crazy highlights throughout it as well. That's the thing. I mean, some people might think, these aren't prem players. They're not even high players. They're just mid players, but they're they can execute things of just as high finesse, just the same level of excitement behind them. I mean, I don't know about you, but I think my personal highlight goes to Pluxa with that double air shot onto Mop.
That was absolutely disgusting. In terms of highlight clips, I feel like that's one of the flashiest ones. But honestly, I'm gonna shout out like Pahan on that last mid. Living was so fundamental towards just ensuring that Not Red Doggo couldn't get back into things. If he had just not quite done it, he got so low. But if he didn't quite dodge, if he slightly misread the situation, it's easy to do. You accidentally run into a rocket and then bam, oh, I'm dead. Whatever. Like, it could have been such a good position for Not Red Doggo to go, but he did exactly what was needed. He was just super sick. I don't know. Yeah. I'm desperately hoping we see a couple highlight clips from this game, because it was so good to see, and it was so hard fought. Neither team was like conceding any ground they really didn't have to. They were fighting for every scrap. Yeah,
it was a really closely fought game. I'm glad we saw a good series, and not a one-sided affair. Like, map 1 looked dominant, map 2 looked dominant in a different way, but map 3 was down to the wire, and the Russians pulled it out in the end.
I feel
question like Eepily. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I did just get the logs up a second, and if we were going to look for MVPs, I want to shout out Meef, 37 for 17, PRM, 30 for 13. Those are absolute nutty statistics on the Russian scouts.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, they really stepped up. They didn't have a great game on map 2, but they were just shutting down so much, especially on the flank. I feel like PRM was doing a good job of sticking it to Max, sticking it to Jake. Those guys didn't have as much of an opportunity to do much in that map 3. But it seemed like every player was playing well, to be honest. There was big moments from all of them. Mac running through choke, Mop with the crazy pipe, Meef with the headshots out of nowhere, obviously Pahan with his crazy survivability. That was just a spectacle of a game. Some really fun sixes there.
100%. Shout out to shout out to both the teams for all that. I think just have a continued look at the logs. It's definitely interesting to see a game where a team has 3 less Ubers, 30 more kills, and end up winning the map for 3-1. That's kind of absolutely crazy. We kind of saw almost, Not Red Doggo tend to play kind of very much around the Ubers, or at least something to that effect. And it felt like while they managed to keep control of the Uber game, their Ubers overall just weren't quite as successful. They weren't quite able to take some of those team fights. And even though the mid fights were super equal, we kind of it seemed to be instead of Gully, where we saw the Russians take control of mid and keep on moving things from there, it kind of felt like the Russians were just better in some of these transition places more than anything else. But I feel like the logs are what they are. I'm desperately hoping to hopefully maybe get a couple of the players in for a cheeky little interview. Not sure if anyone is going to be on their way, but it'd be interesting to hear some of the player thoughts.
Usually players are already in Mumble ready for the interviews, but I guess these mid guys are perhaps not used to the limelight being shone on them. It's maybe not quite as rapid to get into the Mumble and speak their mind.
People want to talk to me. They want to ask me what happened. I don't know. I just fed.
Are you speaking to anyone just now? Do you know who will be joining us for the interview?
Oh, I will make sure we get at least someone. At least someone.
I would like to hear some beautiful Russian voices. They always make for wonderful interviews on these casts.
Definitely. I think it's definitely... It was the kind of game which, I mean, every time you go for like a lower division grand finals, it's kind of, sometimes it can be kind of really interesting. Sometimes it can be a little bit kind of one-sided. We have, often some teams which, let's say, a little bit higher skill level than some of their counterparts. And they will, kind of tend to dominate. But it really felt like in this kind of game, because it was equal, because both teams had, specific ways of doing things, they kind of, both teams saw some success and some failures. I feel like it was about as good of a series as you could probably, realistically get. And honestly, after that, I'm really hyped for the Prem Grand Finals on Sunday now.
Oh yeah, let's hope they're going to be just as close of an affair. Perhaps not. I mean, mid is a peak level of competition. Prem can be a bit skewed sometimes, but it's always competitive in some of these lower divs. And there's a lot of rising talent there that's we're going to be looking out for in the seasons to come. So now with the Russians securing that spot in high, is there anyone you're going to be looking out for? I mean, I expect great things from Boshi. As I say that, it looks like we do have Mac joining the Mumble. Perhaps someone else from the Russians, perhaps someone else from Doggo. But it's going to be interesting to hear Mac's side of things, and he's obviously a good friend of yours, former teammate of mine. We've all played on Doggo here or there.
Yeah, it does make sense. I know in terms of, I'm not quite sure what the Russians will be planning on. I mean, they won low last season. They're winning mid this season. Presumably they're going to win Div 2 next season. Just keep going all the way. 7 killers in just 3 seasons. That's all you need. But like you said, we do have Mac here for a cheeky little interview. How's it going?
Going good, yeah. Fun games. Had a good time.
Yeah, I said definitely. It was hard fought all the way. I guess we'll start at the beginning. It's a good place to start things. Gully, a little bit catastrophic.
Yeah, I basically was not in that game. I'd roll out to mid, get hit by 3 stickies, run up elbow, die, sit on pyro and last. That was my game plan. It was a rough one.
It seemed a little bit kind of whatever. I know you were saying before about how Gully's definitely not your map of choice, particularly on Scout. Going into Snake, what was the atmosphere like in Mumble? Obviously, you lose a game 5-0 in a grand finals. That's got to kind of play on people's minds a little bit.
Don't think we really bothered that much, honestly. It's like, well, that was a game. All right, we play Snakewater. And then, because we know Snakewater's our pick, we frag on Snakewater.
Definitely, it seemed that way. Sorry, Nuze, go ahead.
Yeah, it was a very controlling affair on Snakewater. I mean, Gully was fast. It looks like they took the aggression to you, but when it came to Snake, it definitely seemed like you guys. Sometimes you watch games and you're not so sure which teams picked which map if you didn't know beforehand, but anyone could have looked at that and known that you guys had picked Snakewater because you were in complete control for almost throughout that. And to be honest, a lot of it you can give yourself credit for, because when Meef was stepping up with some of his sniper shots, you came in and you put him in his place, Mac. Any comment on that?
Great time shooting the player standing still and drop down. That's my jam.
Not gonna argue, it's nice them to stay still and put you in some get you some nice little highlight clips there. I mean, all right, we'll go to the biggest game of it all, right? Logjam. So my prediction was if you guys were to go down a couple rounds, things would start to get a little bit difficult. You'd start feeling a little bit pressured and, possibly kind of not quite be able to get back into things. How did it feel from your point of view? Were you guys thinking we need to get an early round? We're not really a fan of playing from behind, or we just kind of taking as it goes? Because obviously Logjam, it's a weird map. People aren't really used to playing it at this point.
Yeah, we try and play the slow game. We're not great at the whole run at things, so we try and slow it down. But then we slowed it down a bit too much and just got pounded by the sniper, which was a bit unfortunate. So yeah, game plan basically play slow, and then it just didn't work because we don't know what we're doing.
I mean,
very sad.
I can argue with that. I can argue with that. That's the insider info for you there. I mean, it doesn't unfortunately look like we're going to get any representatives from the Russian side. So, do you have any more questions you want answered by Mackie News?
Sorry, I'm getting a bit distracted by other things that are going on around me. But what was that, Eepily?
Just then, do you have any more questions you want to ask from our boy Mackie?
Mac, the big question on my mind: what are we going to be seeing from your team next season?
Lad Turtle reform. Out the back. It's coming back.
It's coming back. Not Red Doggo's gonna collapse into its component parts, and then I feel like they're gonna, at least in some form, stay together. I would desperately hope so, but it is what it is. I guess Eve, that's gonna be it. If I think we might as well wrap things up for the night. Let people get on with the rest of their night, and obviously get on with celebrating their wins or close losses. Equally. So we'll round things off. We'll do some quick shout outs. Mac, who do you want to shout out as our sole interviewee?
Oh, that's a big question. Shout out to Plank for tilting off the face of the earth every chance I talk to him.
Is that it? Is that your
Yeah,
one
that's my
soul?
shout out, just to Flag. You love your boy Flag.
Fair play, fair play. Nuze, who do you want to give some love to after that absolute bang of a game?
Obviously, shout outs to both teams. Shout out to you, my man, Eepily and Beater on the production. And you know what? Big shout out to Pahan for his incredible survivability, securing his team the game.
Fair enough, and I'll just round things off. Obviously, congratulations to the Russians. A well-deserved game. Commiserations to not Red Doggo, but honestly, I feel like they fought it really well, and if nothing, they gave us an absolute banger of a best of three. So, I said shout out to both teams. Shout out to Mac for coming for an interview. Obviously, Beta for doing production, and Nuze. It's always great casting with you. Looking forward to seeing what's going to happen at Copenhagen Games. Make sure you guys keep an eye out for all of that stuff coming up in just a couple weeks or so, and obviously, shout out to the viewers. I was keeping an eye on chat a little bit now and then, and people got really excited for that game. So it's always great to see a lot of energy. Exactly. It was absolutely fantastic. And I'll give my final shout out to Mop for getting absolutely decimated by a fat double. So, fair play, mate. But it is what it is. Congratulations to our mid winners of the Russians and Boshi once again. And I guess next thing you'll see from us will be pay attention to TFTV for the grand finals of Prem on Sunday. I believe that's 20:30 EU time. But until then, see you next time.